Welcome to YellBro. Is it lagging? Oh, I'm good. Welcome to YellBro Road. I'm Jordan, and today we're gonna react to, I guess, more Charlie Kirk stuff. But I think it's gonna be attached to Israel, I guess now. So it's gonna be Nick Fuentes. I'm gonna watch. He's live right now, by the way. I'm gonna watch until I'm like, all right, I kind of get his point of view. After that, I'll switch over to Candace Owens and hear what she has to say. I saw her video up there, and I guess I'm following the trends. But first, don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Also, check out the Discord link if you want to join that. Talk some shit. All opinions are welcome. I mean, every opinion. All welcome. I say fuck it. Without further ado, let's hear the right now happening live stream of Nick Fuentes. Who knows what he's about to say? Here we go.
It's Jay Fuentes. We have a great show for you tonight. Very excited to be back here with you tonight on Monday. We have a lot to talk about tonight, lots to get into. Tonight, we're going to be picking up on our coverage last week of the murder of Charlie Kirk, major political assassination last week. And it's been a long weekend. I didn't do a show on Friday. It's been a few days. But I actually think the timing is good. I think it gave everybody a chance to think on this a little bit and sleep on it. It is, I have to say, before we get into the topics tonight, just a general note. And this is something that maybe people haven't realized or thought about too much, but I was thinking about it this afternoon. We should actually be grateful, in a sense, for what we haven't seen so far, which is more political violence. I think about the last time we spoke, the last time I did a show, and it was my biggest show yet. We had a lot of people tune in to see what I had to say about it. And I struck a very conciliatory tone. As I said on Thursday night, Charlie Kirk is a former rival of mine. I considered him an opponent for many years, and a rival. And I took the opportunity on Thursday to make my best attempt to lower the temperature. And I know that phrase is getting a bad rap. A lot of people want to do the opposite. They want to turn the temperature up. But on Wednesday and Thursday, when everybody was still reeling from the tragedy, I really do believe we were looking over the cliff. People recognize how significant what happened on Wednesday was. The feelings are very raw. The nature of it, I think, is unprecedented in modern times. And my honest to God expectation last week is that we would see retaliatory violence. We would see copycat attacks. We would see more bloodshed. And
there was that idea of there was two guys that put an explosive device underneath like a Fox News van. But I mean, I wonder if Nick goes into the idea of this shit being sus. That's all I'm saying. I want to see if he goes there. Here we go.
I have to say, before we even get into some of the analysis tonight, and like I said, trying to pick up where we left off on Thursday and talk a little bit more about what has happened, what has been happening, I do just want to say I'm very grateful, and I think we should all be grateful that we haven't seen any more bloodshed. And I really do believe that is a testament to the fact,
about this topic,
the reality, right, of what we talked about last week, which is that our side is fundamentally different than the other side.
Really?
And as
we need to be happy that there's no more political violence, but you know what? You know who's the problem? The other side. I hope he's not going there. That would just be like almost trying to create that scenario in a way, whether consciously or unconsciously. But here we go. I get it. I'll shut up, Nick fans. Don't worry about it.
Time has passed and the days have gone by. We have had a chance to process the murder, this brutal, horrific public execution. We've had a chance to think about it and deal with it in our own way and cope with it. And I said on Thursday, I think the reason that this hit home for a lot of people, including and especially me, and honestly, I'm surprised that it did because I really did not like Charlie Kirk. The reason that it hit home is because we have been assaulted by wave after wave in America and outside of America, in Gaza, by graphic and visceral depictions of evil. That's what that is. If you were distraught or upset, shaken, disturbed, if you felt darkness, that's because we came face to face with pure evil last week. And I'm not just talking about the brutal killing, which took place in front of thousands of young people and then the whole world, but then we also saw the nihilistic justifications, celebrations, the indifference, the apathy. People that work as nurses, teachers, people in our community, next door neighbors, people in proximity to us, they celebrated the violence. There's a word for that. It's evil.
Now, Nicky boy, I know you're just a kid. I get that. But you got to explain these things in very high levels of detail because someone can take your words and run with it, right, Nicky boy? So you better be very descriptive of what you mean by this. Are you saying the action's evil? Are you saying the people are evil? What are you exactly saying? You have to do that, right? Because you just said, thank God we haven't seen any type of retaliatory actions. Calling someone, a person, like pure evil, you kind of gotta, be yourself. If that's what you believe, please say so. But if it isn't, clarify, I would say. But here we go. From the man of our times.
It's a lack of charity. It's a lack of mercy. It's a lack of humanity. They are denying the humanity of innocent people. And that's why it was so
They're trying
devastating.
To, at least.
And it is a poignant reminder about that dichotomy that the response to not only Charlie Kirk's murder, but also the shocking indifference, callous indifference to it by the left is faith.
By the
left.
response
from our side, because unfortunately, that's what it is now. It's come to that. When it comes to issues like murder, there are sides. Our side, which still believes that human life is sacred and murder is wrong, and our neighbors' lives are not ours to take, even if we disagree with what they say. Our side that believes that, our response to the brutality, to our encounter with evil, was prayer vigils. Prayer vigils. People turned out at state capitals, intersections, churches. The pews were flooded. People attended vigils that they volunteered to
He's
set
selling
up
the narrative,
and create.
guys, just so everyone knows.
People offered up their prayers.
Especially brainwashing
There were
fans.
unbelievable numbers of young people
signing
up to create Turning Point chapters and get involved in other ways politically. And you compare that to the other side. So much comparing and contrasting, isn't there, these days?
Okay. Fuck. We're already off to a bad start, Nicky boy, here. This is not a good start. If you're trying to, maybe he's not trying to, squash tensions here. He's like, no, this is what these guys do over here. Which I think is just not correct, or it's just doesn't work too well. Doesn't work too well. I mean, even in practical terms, when people look at, like you said, like with Gaza, right, Nick? Now, maybe you're one of the, quote-unquote, on the right content creators that do point out what's happening in Gaza, right? Maybe more so, well, I hope it's about, morality, right? Like, oh, this is wrong, which is what he said, right? I hope it's about that. But there's people on the quote unquote on the left, as far as content creators go, that have been screaming about Gaza. But then when they see some guy that was actually like selling the idea of fucking Gaza up, even if in the last month or so he's changed his mind, they probably wouldn't even look it up or notice that. What do you expect to happen with a lot of people? Not saying that's the right thing to do at all, right? I look at them as dumb fuck children if they're out here. They'd be well-meaning in one area, but they're like, "Yo, fuck Charlie Kirk. Who cares, bro? There's a fucking 60,000 people dead in Gaza, bro. Fuck Charlie Kirk. It's just one guy. Who cares?" Right? Kind of like the material assessment of it. I can't stand that personally, but I do understand why people do that. Just like in a trolley car experiment, why people pick killing one to save five. I understand. Do I agree with that? No. But do I understand? Yes. And I say this thing about content creators when I don't hear them lead with empathy. Now, he's being empathetic towards Charlie Kirk and his family, and I guess people that politically align with Charlie Kirk in a way. But empathy doesn't have it's not a faucet. You don't turn it off. You might understand why people say things that they say. Are you going to actually investigate that, Nick? I hope he does. But something tells me, based on the first few words I've heard him say, that he is ready to drum up a team playing exercise. And I tell you right now, at least in my humble opinion, that will always be the wrong way to go. Team mentalities when it comes down to morality, right? I mean, seriously. And also, by the way, these quote unquote the left that were celebrating Charlie Kirk's it still is a hyper minority of quote unquote people that vote Democrat or claim to be on the left. It's still a major minority in regards to all of this. But they're the loudest voices, right? Because they're doing something kind of obnoxious or rude or fucking cunty, whatever the fuck they're doing, right? With us, it stands out, but we can't say that that's the left, right? Just like we can't say it's the right. Either way, it's still fucked up either way, right? Nick, you're supposed to know that. You stand outside the fucking bounds, right? People tell me you're smart. Well, that's just fucking common sense, right? Or I'll throw out another possibility where you have a content creator that says controversial things. And in fact, people are linking to this topic itself, and they got to protect their own ass. That's not me saying Nick has anything to do with this shit, or that he's at fault in any form or fashion. He's not. He's not at fault, in my opinion, from what I've seen, at all. But if you feel that tension, you might want to try to, hey, look over there, instead of at me, right? Instead of what I would, the Jesus-like Christian thing to do, in my humble opinion, would be to look in the camera and say, look, people are going to attach this shit to me. I have nothing to fucking do with this. That's stupid. Yeah, me and Charlie had a beef in regards to arguments and words and politics and all that shit, but I would never fucking harm him like that. That's crazy. In fact, my idea was to make Charlie see what I see. That makes more sense. But to lean on well, the left though would be crazy, right, Nick? Right, Nick? But then again, we're in the age of mediocrity. And this is probably someone's thought leader, which is kind of sad, but oh, you could do better. Yeah, I truly believe I could. But don't worry. Here's more Nick. Here's the soothing tones of Nick Fuentes' voice. Here we go.
When ICE came down in Los Angeles, what did they do? Burned cars, dropped scooters on police cars, burned the American flag. When George Floyd died 5 years ago, what did they do? Loot liquor stores, phone stores, burn down the city.
Different circumstances.
When Charlie...
I'll try to be Once again, I lead with empathy. I'm trying to be fair about this. Is what they're doing correct? Fuck no. It's fucking stupid. But at the same time, right? They see an event happen, right? And I would assume that a lot of people are suspecting, like, oh shit, they're gonna get away with this. They will get away with this. So thus they do stupid shit in response because they're fucking children too. Children. Some people are not just children, bro. They're fucking mind melter motherfuckers, bro. Brainwashers for sure are out there on any spectrum you think of. Period. But for the most part, they're probably dumb kids that think like, look, he's kneeling on his neck, and they're not going to do anything about this. Or Kyle Rittenhouse just killed 2 people. No one cares, bro. Fuck you. We got to do something. Another level of idiocy. You can say they, like Nick's doing. But once again, it's still minority of minorities of people that go out there and do that. I don't mean racial minorities, by the way. No pun intended. I meant like demographics of people on the quote unquote left. It's still a significantly tiny amount compared to the people that call themselves the left. Like, come on, dude. You're going to let that like throw away like principles of free speech and shit like that, Nick? You wouldn't allow that, right? Someone shouldn't be like thrown off of a platform or fired because of words they say on the fucking internet. You should be like the number one fucking example of like you can't do that. That's not right. Right, Nick? Fuck it. At this point, I'm like, yo, fuck it. We're stupid. We're dumb as fuck. And I'm waiting for fucking aliens or Jesus, someone to show up for these dummies out here, for these Dunkin' fucking donuts. Here we go.
Kirk was horrifically murdered for no reason at all, for no good reason. Not that there is a good reason,
There's people
but
being murdered and
for
all over the
such a
fucking world,
ridiculous, petty reason because he did partisan debates at colleges.
Yeah, it's stupid. I agree.
When half the country seemed to rise up instinctually to justify and celebrate the violence. The right wing, by the way.
Half the country? You're telling me there's 150 million people saying, like, yeah, get him. Good job. Are you serious? Yo, who got to this fucking guy, bro? Who got to this guy? Maybe this event did. Maybe it got to him. He's like, damn, bro, I might get in trouble for this. You know what? I'm going to stand the exact opposite of what I might normally say based on my content. It's like, yeah, if we go with Nick, right, and some of his jokes about the Holocaust, not trying to go there as like calling him an anti-Semite. I'm not even going there at all. I'm just saying, like, that was an event that happened where people died. Maybe you have questions about the circumstances of that, but you agree that people like died en masse. I would assume he agrees with that. But you'll make jokes here. It's about time pass. So, is there like a time period, like let's say 40 years go by? Can we now do that, Nick? Is that okay, Nick? If 40 years go by and we make a joke about Charlie Kirk, is that okay? Or someone says, fuck Charlie Kirk. Is that okay in what's the time limit, Nick? See how it's like inconsistent, it's hypocritical, and it's basically like you're just a man of the fucking times. You're as good as the world around you, my man. Your haircut isn't even fucking yours, probably. I borrowed that from someone else too. But this guy's a thought leader for people. Funny enough. Yeah. A genius out there, huh? Until 10 years goes by, then he's not so genius anymore. Like, it's babies are, we're dealing with babies at this point, I think. But let's keep playing. I'll try to shut up. But he says stupid shit. I have to call it out. Here we go.
Would have been every bit justified.
We only have like 1,000 subscribers, huh, bro? You're no one.
A pound of flesh for a pound of flesh, an eye for an eye.
You get shit all over.
Because enough is enough. They would have been every bit justified. This is a big country of 350 million people. And you know what? The right wing has all the guns.
Oh, shit.
The right wing makes up the majority. of the police,
Genius.
military. People could have sought retribution. And some were calling for that. I think most were calling for the opposite. But there was not one instance of reprisal, not one of retaliation. And even in the vigils for Charlie Kirk, which were interrupted by these shit-eating leftists who showed up to taunt and mock and ridicule the organizers,
Those random
they were
individuals.
treated with mercy. They weren't beaten to death. They weren't killed on the spot. They were apprehended, but with restraint and with mercy, because that's who we are.
Do you mean the random individuals? Yeah, random people do shit all the fucking time. How are you not getting that? Like, who is this fucking guy? It's not like you're almost like, I don't know, man. You sound like he's selling some shit, bro. Sounds like a fucking salesman right now. I don't like that. Not because I'm not gonna get fucking played by this stupid shit, but other people might get played. Because they haven't worked on themselves. Period. Here we go. These guys showing up at the visuals? Or the vigils, whatever the fuck it's called. Like who, that one guy over there? That's what the left does. That one guy over there? The left. That one fucking guy over there? Fuck. Guess what? Nick could say 200,000 accounts cheered for Charlie Kirk getting killed. And guess what? It's still a tiny percentage. A tiny ass little fucking percentage. It's important. Yes, it's important to call out. But what is Nick doing? He's saying, like, oh, these guys do this. And by these guys, he means half the country, apparently? Fuck. You dummy. If you fall for this, bro, you're a fucking idiot, bro. I'm sorry to tell you. You're dumb as rocks if you fall for this shit. I'm not even saying Nick's trying to trick anyone. I'm just saying, like, if you get caught up in the way he's thinking right now, which might be self-protection, by the way, you're a fucking dummy. Don't worry. I'll wait for you in 10 years when you're like, damn, I fucked up doing that shit. When you regret it later. Don't worry. I know you won't come back to me and say, hey, Jordan, you were right. I'm sorry. I know you're not going to do that. Till daddy tells you to. Huh? Here we go. Dummies.
And I think in many ways that was
I'm almost done with this fool.
vindicating.
I'm almost done with this fool.
And I felt a
Honestly.
sense of reassurance actually this weekend when I saw that. Because I'm going to be honest, on Thursday, I didn't know how I would approach the show. I had a lot of mixed feelings, as I know you all did. I know, like you, part of me felt that there needed to be a crushing and brutal response.
The one guy that killed
matched
someone?
the gravity of what they did.
You say they did. It's one fucking guy that we have in custody, you dummy. In fact, when I see people using like the Discord fucking message thing, and he's like, hey guys, I'm sorry, but I'm the guy that did that shit at UVU. Or what was it? Yeah. Right? UVU? University, Utah Valley University or some shit like that, right? I'm the guy that did that. I'm sorry, guys. Why did he apologize to them, Nick? Why was he sorry to them? Huh? Why? You said it was them. They did it. But that one guy apologized to the rest of the group. Why'd that happen? You better have some good explanation for that shit, like right now. Because this live stream is like happening right now, which means he should have the information that I fucking have. Now, it's okay if someone didn't see the information. That's fine. That can happen. That's why we use words like, I don't fucking know. That's why you use words like that. But he's not doing that, is he? What is he saying? Half the country, they, shit like that. Holy fuck. If you were a Nick Fuentes fan, but you also like my channel too, is this not an eye-opener for you? Alright, listen, I like Nick, but guess what? He's not too bright on shit like this. He's not too bright about it. Yeah, Nick's a good talker, and he says some ideas I like, but this shit, he's kind of falling short. Like, really short. Here we go.
And the other part of me, and
I mean, I try to
some
explain
part
it
of me
10 million
felt like
different
this
ways,
was
but it is what
naive,
it
but
is.
another part of me said, that's just not right. The gospel is so unequivocal.
But you blaming all these
We
people is not
forgive
going to work
not
either.
7 times, but 7 times 70 times. Forgive them. They don't know what they do. It could not be more clear.
That's what I'm saying about you right now, my man.
And I talked a little bit on Thursday about why that
He doesn't
is,
know what he's
and
doing.
part of it is political. One of the things I thought about this past week is this how we solve problems? We disagree with each other, so we go out and murder and kill. Where does that leave us down the road? We're going to have a society of warlords, the most brutal, the most cruel, the most evil. They will be the strongest. They will rise to the top. What kind of society does that look like? It's a very...
Nick, have you not seen the last 30 fucking presidencies? Are you kidding me? You're already there, my man. He's like a child. He doesn't. You have a sentimental view of how your government works. The warlords did make it to places of power, and look what they do with it. Israel's about to unleash a unholy fucking war in Gaza City right now, or sorry, genocide. And your government is handing them the bombs while they do it. Can you imagine a world where warlords made it to the top? What the fuck you think is happening, my man? Why the fuck do you think you're here? No offense to him. He could be just an ignoramus for all I know, right? But do you think the sensible ideas would make it where you're at, Nick? You had to be provocative, didn't you? You had to say wild shit, didn't you? Not the truth, but just be provocative. The fucking drum beaters make it up here, Nick. You dummy. And it's very fucking consistent too, by the way. Throughout time, we've seen this. The guys that are just smart enough to sound credible, but too dumb enough to do anything fucking about it, bro. Straight up. You guys are on repeat. You're a fucking rerun, my man. He doesn't know that, though. He doesn't know his suit is fucking borrowed. He doesn't know his posture is fucking borrowed. His haircut's fucking borrowed. Everything's fucking borrowed. He thinks he's fucking singular, doesn't he? I mean, he is in reality. But his behavior, not so much. It's embarrassing. I'm dead ass trying to listen to him, but I hear certain words and phrases next to each other, and I freak out. I have to let it fucking fly. I have to. I can't look past even the littlest fucking thing. I can't look past it. Borrowed guitars. Here we go.
very ugly one.
Shout
and
the
I thought
metric.
about Christianity in particular, and you think about how our religion has survived for 2,000 years.
Bathing suits.
It's ironic. Some people clipped my show last week and they said I was sounding like a Muslim. How did our religion survive? How did our religion thrive?
Good people, probably.
Under persecution.
You need good people to legitimize
in
things.
the period of the early church. And there's a one-word answer to that question. Our religion, just like this movement, which is inspired by our religion, it grows by witness.
So what?
It grows by the witness.
Of what?
Of the piety and the faith and the love and the sacrifice of the Christians. And, you know, I said it on Thursday, and I'm going to double down on it again tonight. And some people said this makes me a hypocrite. This is contradictory with things I've said in the past. But we were a witness on Wednesday to Charlie Kirk being gunned down like a martyr. And look at what the witness to Charlie Kirk has turned into. When you see the real life testimonials, the videos from young people, from teenagers, from college students, from young men, from young women, And honest to God, I've been touched by it. All throughout the past week, I have seen countless Instagram reels, TikToks of young men and young women. And you know what they've said? They said, Charlie Kirk inspired me to go back to church on Sunday.
Okay, Nick, let me remind you again. The thing that where people are acting callously towards Charlie Kirk being killed in front of everyone, right? They were also, there's a lot of people that were also callous, including, actually, Charlie himself was callous, at least as a public figure, right? Who knows his deeper, darker, not darker as in like bad, but like secret, like quiet ideas of things and emotions about things. See how I led with empathy right there, Nick? See that? I led with empathy. See that, Nick? It's a little lesson for you, my man. But when there's a kid being blown up in Gaza somewhere, how did Charlie react, Nick? If you don't see that, once again, it's not here to shit on Charlie about that, but those ideas need to be shit on, in my humble opinion. But he behaved the same as the thing you're claiming is, the downfall of humanity, which is how people are reacting to Charlie Kirk. He did that with other people, dude. Unless those people over there are less valuable to you, which would be crazy and anti-Christian, in my humble opinion. Anti-Jesus, definitely. So it's like, why are we not actually trying to diagnose the phenomenon? Instead of going after apathy, he goes after the left, whatever the fuck that means. God, man, it's fucking children, and they end up in the fucking high. Once again, Nick is like a quasi underground internet kid who rose up because people mentioned his name. How the fuck did Mr. Mediocre make it here? Do I blame him? Or do I blame the fucking audience? You tell me. And it's repeatable. Throughout time, it's fucking repeatable. How the fuck does William F. fucking Buckley make it there? He's terrible. But guess what? He makes it there anyways. Yo, who's the counter to Nick? Some other mediocre motherfucker. On repeat. Fuck my life, dude. We're watching reruns of dog shit. But also making it the most important. Oh my god, what the fuck did Nick say? It becomes the most important thing on planet fucking Earth. God. I'm guilty of it too, then, at that point. Let's be honest. So, alright, let's keep playing. Here we go.
He inspired me to be a better man. He inspired me to be more honest, to be courageous.
Some other people,
to stand up for what I believe in, peacefully. And so whoever took his life on Wednesday, and we'll talk about that tonight, that's the subject of the show. Whoever took his life on Wednesday, I hope whoever it is, whether it's the suspect in custody, Tyler Robinson, who is innocent until proven guilty, or maybe it was some other force, or there were accomplices, whoever was involved, whoever cheered it on, I hope they see what they created. And I hope they see that what they did backfired. You killed one person who, by the way, I didn't even really care for. One person who, up until he was shot on Wednesday, I didn't even respect that much. And I doubted his sincerity. And I thought that what he did was silly. They shot one person, but then they inspired millions of people. And that's not an understatement. That's not rhetoric.
To do what? To do what, Nick?
The witness to his truth-telling, to his character, even if he was imperfect, even if he didn't live up to it all the time, even if there were contradictions, all people are filled with contradictions. All people do good and evil. All people are hypocrites. Life makes hypocrites of us all. And those that aspire to virtue will be hypocrites because we're flawed men and women. But the witness to who he tried to be, what he aspired to be, That has inspired millions more to grow closer to God and to suffocate and overcome evil with good, with light, not with retaliation, not by going to their level, not by murdering each other with our words or literally with bullets, but to suffocate and overcome hopelessness, cynicism, hatred with actual love, with actual benevolence, actual magnanimity.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Nick. Charlie sucked at that. Then, in my humble opinion, he's either like extremely lazy, extremely stupid, or wasn't like. Let's be honest. Maybe he's trying to balance things out. Maybe outweigh some of the bads with the goods, aka playing politics. It's not good enough, Nick, and you know that. It's like you're not fucking good enough at what you do. But don't worry, your fans will come defend you. Here we go.
And so for anybody that thinks it was a lot of hollow words last week and a lot of sentiment, you know, what is real about what happened is the millions and millions of people who were touched by it. And believe it or not, that means something in itself. That in itself is a testament.
Nick. Dummy.
And it's an important part of my monologue last week. And I said this last week. A lot of people have criticized me since. It's kind of shocking. Many people praised me for sort of putting our differences aside and saying nice things about Charlie Kirk. Other people said, well, you know, you didn't like him. Isn't it cowardly to not attack him now that he's dead or something?
If you view it as attack, you're already
full
But
I genuinely do mean it, that seeing how he has touched so many lives, and sadly, you never realize that until someone's gone. And there's something.
No, you can see that in life if you want to. You just have to try to look for it. Fuck. And other times. Here we go.
Something heartbreaking about that.
Yeah, it's hard.
All
it
by
is
itself,
heartbreaking, actually.
Isn't there?
Yeah.
We all had feelings about Charlie Kirk and his work. He had feelings about it. He'll never know.
I don't know.
I hope he knows, but since he has died, he will never know. I hope he sees looking down from heaven just how much love there was for him, just how many people he touched. And now that he's passed, I've seen it. And I'm a witness to it. And that is real. So
No, it comes off as ritualistic, almost. Like a human ritualistic thing. Shit on someone, shit on them, shit on them, shit on them, then they die. And now they're fucking heroes. Instead of like just trying to be real at all moments in time, whether you're alive, dead, whatever. Just being real about it. But apparently that's just too fucking much for people, I guess. Here we go. It's sad. Here we go.
I think that out of this horrific tragedy, something that, like I said last week, it was just...
So who really did it,
It was the unthinkable. I can't shake it. What I felt on Wednesday, it was like a nightmare. That's the only thing I can compare it to. It had the exact same texture, the exact same feeling that you have after you wake up from a horrific nightmare. And it's been a short time, but I hope you feel similarly. I feel a lot better today than I did last week. I feel...
Okay. I'm going to be honest again. Once again, it's as of recent, like there was another boat blown up. Well, there's multiple boats that have been blown up by the U.S. government in international waters. Now, I understand people are like, oh, you fucking, inside baseball. So like, well, now I'm telling you. Do you feel the same? If you don't feel the same, please, I beg you to. Don't take my answer. Ask yourself why. Why that's different. And what degree does it take to where it's like, okay, when you die, it's apathy towards them when that person dies. In this case alone, right? The Tyler Robinson kid, let's say we have him like caught dead to rights. You did it. We all know. You confessed to it. How do you feel about that death if they execute him or some shit like that? Seriously. And it's... yeah, I'm going to have questions in both scenarios. Like straight up. And once again, Nick shook to the core, but he said he went over the Gaza stuff. I wonder how he feels about the Venezuelan. I'm sure he's aware of it, right? The Venezuelan boats being blown up with no judge or jury, right? Just we deem you guilty, we blow you up. No evidence about backed by it or anything like that. You just do it. Does Nick input the same amount of empathy towards that? You should ask yourself that question. I would think, audience, or even like less so my audience, I think, but more so like Nick fans, except for Matt Hunter in my audience. Matt Hunter and Dubster, I expect certain things from those guys, but yeah, if you're a Nick Fuentes fan, where are you at with all this? Like, why all of a sudden is Charlie so important, and why wasn't he so important before that? That's my main question. It's like, damn, Nick, was I caring about Charlie more than you were before he died? Or it's like, oh, he's a fucking, then the other team has to fight them. Then he dies, like, you know what? He's an inspiration for millions. I'm like, he already was. Maybe not the way you want, but he already was. Duh. And as I say that, someone's being like gunned down right now. Someone with no name, no face for you to tear up for, being gunned down right now. Is Nick conscious of that? Does he care the same? Or is this extra special for him? It's like you have to consider those things in regards to your own psyche, right? What if it wasn't caught on camera? What if it was like secretly? Like someone in a dark alley kills Charlie Kirk and no one sees it. Does it change how you feel about it? If you're not asking those questions, what the fuck? If the answer actually changes based on circumstances of how much did I see of it, you should ask yourself some very dark, deep questions. You really should. You should care about the things you don't see as much as the things you do see. If you want to like work in that realm of a moral pedestal, if you will. Then again, what do I expect from content creators? Here we go.
A lot better. And my faith in humanity has been restored somewhat. Okay. Based on what we saw and what we did not see in the past 5 days. So I just have to open with that.
All right, then. Who really did it, Nick?
Sometimes to look at the good also. Such a horrific evil, but
who did it, Nick?
The story of our religion and, frankly, the story of our world is a fallenness and evil that is redeemed by love. That's actually the beauty, and on some level, that is actually the ultimate meaning of our religion, which is a victory snatched from the jaws of defeat, which is a redemption from evil, from brokenness, which is even greater than the original position. It's the fruit being put back on the tree. It's the repairing of the world.
It's knowledge of good and evil.
The healing of the world through the sacrifice. And so I am actually touched by the outpouring of support, and I didn't expect that. And I think a lot of people didn't expect that. Certainly people that are not into politics, people that are more on the outside. So it's been very reassuring. But anyway, that's just a little note about maybe an epilogue about the show from Thursday. But tonight I do want to move on. I want to talk about some
asking for more empathy.
Topical things. Of course, Thursday I spent the entire show talking about the state of the country.
The world we live in.
And giving a very general take on the entire tragedy. This is something that has rocked the country to its core. And it's difficult to say at this point what the ramifications will be, how far-reaching it will be, if there will be chain reaction. And in particular, everybody is on full alert about political violence and the polarization, the tit for tat, the potential for reprisal. I don't think we're out of the woods on that just yet. But tonight, I want to
Gang
talk
violence, man.
in much more detail about the actual killing. I think it's appropriate at this point, and I think it's worth talking about because, of course, we talked all about this on Thursday, and much has been said. So much has been said. So many takes and positions and plans, ideas. And what sticks out in my mind about all of it, for all this talk about civil war, for all this talk about national divorce and a conflict, a war of all against all in America, we still don't even know who fired the shot.
Oh, shit.
Isn't
He's
that
going
sort of
there.
Interesting.
He's going there. Okay.
One shot, one lethal shot rings out in Utah, taking the life of Charlie Kirk. And we think we know who fired it, but we're not sure. And like the American Revolution or like the Civil War, no one is really quite sure who fired the first shot. And people are racing.
And in gang wars, too.
Like I said, to their post to take these positions. Steven Crowder is calling for violence, defensive violence. What's his clarification? There is a database of 60,000 liberals who celebrated the killing. Some people are blaming the Groypers. Other people are blaming Israel. It has been not a week, and we don't know who fired the shot, and yet everybody is all ready to blame someone else. Everybody already has a narrative constructed, how to interpret this event in the context of other events, and what this conflict in America is shaping up to actually be. We don't even know. And so I'd like to talk a lot about that tonight. We're going to talk about the different...
Before he goes... Yeah, that was happening, day one, before there was anyone caught. There's no images of the alleged shooter, no nothing, but people were jumping to narratives instantly, which should be like a bad sign because I don't think we're all in the FBI seeing the inside information. And there was actually some things leaked from these federal organizations to some of these content creators, like Crowder. Right? And they ran with narratives very quickly. And the narratives never left. Right? They said, trans symbolism, right? But when that didn't work out, they transferred to, he has a trans boyfriend, furry roommate. Just kept going on and on and on with no evidence, really. Just saying it. So, I'll agree with Nick on that, I guess. He probably should have said that in his... I don't know if he did say it. Maybe he did say it in his first fucking broadcast. But, yeah, that's one of the first things I noticed was people saying, it's the left. It's the crazy trans agenda or whatever the fuck, right? But, all right, here we go.
And what this conflict in America is shaping up to actually be, we don't even know. And so I'd like to talk a lot about that tonight. We're going to talk
Candace
about
on
the
deck.
different culprits. Tonight we're going to talk about the prime suspect in the killing, which is a 22-year-old by the name of Tyler Robinson. He is the person of interest in custody who the federal government will be charging any day now. State of Utah has already charged him. He has pled not guilty. He is not cooperating. He has not confessed to the authorities. There's a lot of evidence that places him at the scene of the crime. DNA evidence, video, photograph evidence.
Which is a little weird, but
there
the video
are
makes
witnesses. But he has not given a confession, so it's not so cut and dry. We'll also talk tonight about the Israel angle. Many people online are speculating that Israel and its allies in the United States had something to do with the killing of Charlie Kirk, that it was a state-sponsored conspiracy involving Israeli intelligence and the American government and maybe other forces
That's probably the
to
Candace
silence
idea we're
Charlie
going to go
Kirk.
over.
And a patsy was created. A left-wing person was elevated to take the blame for some purpose. We'll talk about that theory tonight as well. We'll also talk tonight about the left-wing conspiracy theory, which blames the Groypers. And this might be the most unbelievable one, and that's saying a lot. I've been accused of avoiding the Israeli angle, and I'll just say at the outset, I've done one show since Charlie Kirk was murdered. I think I've put on Twitter maybe a dozen tweets. I have not avoided the subject. Honestly, I didn't think it needed to be addressed because it, frankly, on its face seems ridiculous.
So does saying the left. That's also very ridiculous when it comes to actual investigative journalism, investigative police work, investigative as an internet sleuth. That's all a very lazy thing to say. Say half the country is celebrating, then say 60,000 in the next sentence, right? That's kind of, to me, batshit crazy, right? If it was 100,000 people, once again, it's 100,000 people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, it's still a major minority of people, a major minority of half the country, or even people that are registered Democrats. It's still a major, major, major minority. If it was 60 million Americans that voted Democrat in the last election, let's call them the left if you want to, whatever, 100,000 is a fucking drop in the fucking bucket. It's still important, yes, to go over. It's very important, in my opinion, like very, very, very important. But to walk away with a diagnosis of these guys are just out of their minds, the left, is fucking stupid and lazy. And lazy's being nice. Some people are doing things, in my opinion, out of like to make people like get focused on that my team versus your team fucking thing. So, but all right, here we go. Let's hear where Nick goes. Hopefully, if he brings up Candace, I might switch over to Candace Owens because whatever. Let's hear her. It's like her video's out before his video was. So, yeah. All right, here we go.
But somehow there's an even more ridiculous theory that has surfaced, which is that this anti-fascist, trans chaser, furry who hated Donald Trump and thought Charlie Kirk was a Nazi was somehow a Groyper or far right or a Trump supporter secretly. And we'll talk about that conspiracy theory too.
That's not an idea. That he's
we'll
a
talk
trans.
about each of them, and I'll evaluate them at the end of the show.
But his trans lover snitched on him, right?
And I'll give you a nuanced take. I hate that word typically because I prefer decisiveness and judgment. But it is important to be precise in our analysis and detailed and rigorous. I think people are owed that.
You got the internet version.
I think that part of the problem with this assassination, like with every other...
Oh, shit. Is it fucked? I didn't pause it, I swear to God. Am I frozen?
Tragedy or crisis in the past 10 years is that nobody trusts the institutions.
Well, duh.
Nobody trusts the mainstream media. Nobody trusts the FBI. Nobody trusts the...
God damn it. I'm sorry, guys. My internet might be wacky or Rumble's being wacky. Fuck my life. Get a full screen? Nah, it's my shit, bro. I think it's my shit. It's 100,000 people watching him. Holy Christ. Oh, it's so fucking laggy. Anyone hear me in Discord right now?
Yep.
Okay, so it's the fucking video feed. Alright. Right when they get to the part I want to hear. Just do this. See what happens. Okay. Did Pure
and
cash.
perhaps set up somebody like Ben Shapiro to take his place.
Rewind. Try again.
Transgender boyfriend was also appalled at the violence. Now
Start
there's
here. Fuck it.
explanations for this too. Are they engaging in ass covering mode? Did they see what happened and feel the need to give themselves an alibi? Maybe they had instantaneous regret. Maybe the transgender boyfriend heard death penalty and then sought to cooperate, or maybe was threatened with charges if he did not cooperate. Perhaps the suspect changed his tune when the death penalty
There's
came
a lot of
into
questions
the
here.
equation. These are possible explanations, but at this point, that's all they are, is contingent explanations. They are by no means definitive, and by no means can we assume these things. All we know is that there are a lot of discrepancies about the story.
Yeah.
Now, there's some other things that we need to get into about the actual carrying out of the attack. Now, to me, this is the least controversial
You
part.
did say that half the country, though. That's weird.
They say
But,
that
okay. Celebrating, I guess.
Tyler Robinson got atop a building about 200 yards away from Charlie Kirk. Others say the distance was actually much shorter. And if you look at a 3D mock-up of the facility, it was not a difficult perch to gain access to. Unlike the rooftop in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, the killer here did not require a ladder to climb to the top of the roof. This was accessible by a pavilion,
stairwell.
by a pedestrian walkway. There was a staircase that led up to the perch where the killing shot was fired. What's more, eyewitnesses say that there was no security at this event. There were security guards, and they were stationed in and around the tent where Charlie Kirk was present answering questions, but there was no security perimeter established. They did not control entry into the event or onto the campus. They did not check IDs. They did not scan tickets. And so this is the softest of soft targets. The nearest high point was not secured. This is a rooftop that anyone could have access to, did not require a ladder. The killer allegedly waltzed right up to the perch, set up the shot, took the shot, ran away. And if you view a three-dimensional mock-up of the facility, that looks perfectly possible. It looks easy. And it seems that if anybody knew where Charlie Kirk was going to be speaking, and if they scoped out the layout of the campus, it doesn't seem like this would be a difficult plot to put together and then to carry out. And it makes
Now, for me personally, when some people were asking, like, well, why him? In my mind, I leave the possibility it could have been anyone, but it's just like the access, just the ability to do something was there, I would think, right? If we take all the known circumstances, the opportunity is like right there. Not everyone's doing college fucking tours around the entire country with, dates posted. I'll be here at this time, right? And you can do like simple ass looks at everything and like you said, like a soft target, but like, yeah, maybe this guy, if it's him, Tyler Robinson, if they were doing that, maybe they were like, maybe they hated a bunch of people, right? But Charlie was just like extra available. So that's why it was Charlie instead of someone else. So these are fair points, I think, by Nick. Here we go.
makes common sense. When you go to these events, people are paying attention to the event. People are paying attention to the spectacle. Apparently, there were spotters on the roof opposite where the killer was perched.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's kind of crazy.
Did they not see him? Maybe they did.
That's kind of crazy.
Did the people
Okay.
on the ground not see him? These are some unanswered questions. But from what people say, it seems to be the case that this was a pretty easy setup. Without security, without checkpoints, he walked up, took the shot, walked right out. Now, the walking out has been the subject of a lot of controversy. People say that when Tyler Robinson or the gunman left the building, this is where it gets tricky. We don't know exactly how he gained access to the roof, if he climbed or if he took the staircase. But the surveillance video shows that he jumped off of the roof to make his escape, which was a high jump. And the video has been the subject of a lot of scrutiny. Some people say that the video does not show that he had his rifle with him. Why does this matter? Because, of course, the rifle was fully assembled when he took the shot. The rifle was fully assembled when it was recovered in a wooded area not far from where the shot was taken.
They said they found a screwdriver on the roof.
Now, there's a video of him leaving the roof and making his escape through the wooded area where he discarded the rifle. Some people say that when he jumped off of the roof, they cannot see the rifle in his hands. Where would it be? It couldn't be on the roof because it was in the wooded area. If it wasn't visible in the video of him leaving the roof, that means it was either planted in the woods or he was concealing it somehow by deconstructing it in pieces. But if he deconstructed it in pieces, that would have been a time-consuming process that he probably couldn't have done in the allotted time.
And they're saying with
it
a
would
screwdriver.
Have been difficult to do. And even if he was somehow able to deconstruct the weapon on the roof, conceal it, jump off of the roof, the weapon was recovered after the fact in the woods, fully constructed. Which begs the question, did he then reconstruct the rifle in the woods to discard, to pick up later? Why would he do that? That doesn't make any sense at all. The story would have to go something like this. He concealed the rifle when he walked up, put it together, took it apart, jumped off the roof, put it back together, placed it in the woods, and then ran away.
Wrapped in a towel.
But this would be too time-consuming, would require maybe more equipment than he had, which was a screwdriver and nothing else, and wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Would that...
Now, they were saying it was wrapped in a towel that had Robinson's DNA on it, all right? And but they show us a picture of it in like a cardboard box, basically. So like the cardboard box wasn't, apparently was not Charlie Robinson's, right? Jesus Christ, Tyler Robinson's, right? I assume they put it in there to take a picture of it, but they didn't show pictures of the thing like when they first find it, right? Which means someone like moved it or touched it or whatever. So like it's like blatantly already like that's already a weird scenario. Now, I do understand, and I do respect like internet sleuthing and all that shit, bro. These guys figure some shit out. They do. I do get worried though that if someone does like a shitty job, a shoddy job as like a detective or a police officer or whatever the fuck, that we end up getting like trapped in this. And like I said, forgive me, it's gonna sound, bro, we're talking about this. Forgive me, but like, there are world events happening during all of this. In fact, they might be taking advantage of people paying so hard attention to the Charlie Kirk thing, which is also very important too, by the way. It's like, don't take your eye off of all the things that are happening. Like, have one solid mind looking at all of it simultaneously, I would say. But yeah, there are some weird circumstances or instances in regards to this topic, but yeah, here we go.
That being said, if you look closely at the video of him jumping off of the roof, it is a grainy video. It's difficult to see. There's no question about that. It is ambiguous.
I just want to add, like, the governor said it was black pants initially. Then they showed photos of the guy later, the Tyler guy later, and say, "Oh, see, look, he's in blue jeans." Like, he actually said it two different ways, which would make you think, okay, he changed clothes, I guess, according to you guys, or you're doing a shitty job of reporting on this, which means you probably shouldn't report on it until you like get your shit in order first. But sorry, here we go.
But if you look closely, I do believe you can see that he is carrying a straight object that looks to be concealed by the towel. It swings from his right arm as he jumps off of the roof, and lands with it. That's a matter of interpretation. That's a matter of perspective.
And he picks up two
I'm not
things,
going
I
to
think,
say
off
it's
the ground.
definitive. That's what I believe
My
I
opinion.
saw. But this is some of the evidence that people like Michael Savage and others are using to say that maybe he was not the gunman or not the only gunman, or that maybe evidence was planted. That's been the subject of a lot of scrutiny. You can look closely at it. To me, I feel like I can see an object that does not bend, a straight, long object that swings as he jumps down. But again, it's a matter of interpretation.
Just fair enough, but like, you have to consider the like abstraction of what ifs, right? Like, okay, if there was like a bigger conspiracy here of multiple people involved, what would be the purpose? Why do all this, right? That it begs the question. It really does. So, like, you'll end up in another like fucking knot or brain noodle after like trying to figure out like, well, why? If there was like 5 people involved, there's guys giving like baseball signals behind Charlie Kirk. Like, what's the point? The Israel one is like a little bit difficult to like. Why? But I leave room for everything. So please make your arguments. Here we go.
Now, the other piece of evidence, and this to me is maybe the most damning, this is the detail that I don't think a lot of people have talked about, but it is also somewhat unreliable. This speaks to the motive. And this is going to get us to some of the other
abstraction. Okay.
culprits in the killing. Of course, the big question is, these are most of the relevant facts. The question is, why would a 22-year-old, who was by all accounts a brilliant, normal guy, why would he kill Charlie Kirk? It's a pretty radical action.
Oh, wait. You mean the shooter. Okay.
A homicide of a high-profile
apparently not
stranger,
brilliant.
A political figure in cold blood, from a Mormon Reddit guy who, according to his parents, had a 34 ACT score, which is very high percentile, 4.0 GPA, full ride scholarship to a local college. Family was allegedly conservative, although some say that might not be the case. He had no criminal record, no history of murder or violence. So the question is, why? Why does a 22-year-old carry out an attack like this? Why does a bright young man with no record, with his future ahead of him, and by the way, no social media footprint, which is a little interesting detail. Why does this person decide to wake up one day and not just, by the way, carry out a random attack, but an orchestrated attack? And think about the difference here. There is all the difference in the world between a sloppy job, a sloppy passion of crime, where a nervous amateur, let's say for the sake of argument, walks up to the microphone, draws a pistol, and takes a shot. Because when I was told that Charlie Kirk was shot at a question and answer session, that is the first image that came to my mind.
That is very fair, but I unfortunately opened Twitter and saw the actual thing happen. It's the actual imagery of it without knowing what was happening. Like, what? I actually assume, I'm like, is this not CGI, but AI, like an AI video of someone trolling? Instantly, that was my initial thought. Not saying that's the right thing to do at all, but that's where my mind fucking went to. But if I didn't see that shit initially, and someone asked about it, like, hey, Charlie Kirk got shot, my mom would go to like the change my mind scenario, right? You're at a desk with a microphone, someone walks up and just pulls a pistol out and shoots them. So yeah, I agree with Nick on that. Here we go.
Before I saw the video, before we became acquainted with the details, if someone told you, and you know what these events look like.
Exactly.
If someone told you that someone took a shot at Charlie Kirk, what would you imagine?
It'd be a guy walking up.
I would imagine that when entering or exiting, or when sitting stationary in the chair, someone would draw a short-range weapon from a short distance and take a shot, like Luigi Mangione. But this required planning.
Quite a bit of
This
planning.
required sophistication. All these things that we just talked about, all these details were premeditated. It's not just that you have a brilliant 22-year-old, maybe not brilliant, but a gifted 22-year-old with a high ACT score, a high GPA, a full ride scholarship.
Like such a bot with intelligence.
A person
He's a bot.
with no footprint, no record of transgressive behavior, of violence, of antisocial behavior. As far as we know, no mental illness, no digital footprint of political extremism. Not just why does this person wake up one day and take a shot, which might be explainable by impulsiveness or passion or youth. Wake up, he's at my campus, reach for a gun, take a shot. He drove 3.5 hours from his home. He cased the location. He cased it. He scoped it out.
Yeah.
He looked at a map. He scoped out where Charlie would be on the campus. He looked where he could take a shot. He thought about the choice of weapon, what would be reliable, what would have the requisite velocity, the scope. This is a marksman. He had experience with firearms. Now, maybe if you're a hunter, this sort of thing comes naturally, but I believe that hunting wildlife is different than killing a human being in a political assassination. So,
not if you don't value your own existence with it, right? If you're like, I don't care about me and I'm okay with dying, why not do something before I die? So you have to, like, that's be part of the equation if you're going to go this route where Nick's going. Just saying. Sorry, guys. Here we go.
He premeditates this plot to drive 3.5 hours, set up on a perch, take the shot, drive home. Why does a 22-year-old do such a thing? And the explanation is that
you don't own the world,
he hated conservatives. He hated Christians. He apparently had a transgender boyfriend, a male to female transsexual boyfriend that was living with him. And we've learned a little bit about the transsexual boyfriend, whose name is Lance Twiggs. Kind of a ridiculous name.
Kind of crazy name.
And they say that Lance Twiggs was a similar-aged young white man, also from a Mormon background, who was kicked out of his household by his parents when he came out as transgender and would not accept conversion therapy or reparative therapy or prayer from the Mormon church.
Reparative therapy.
And so circumstantially, people say, well, he's left-wing. He is dating a transsexual. Clearly, this was like Dog Day Afternoon. He was motivated by his
Nick's seen that? Okay.
For his transsexual boyfriend, and the rhetorical violence being inflicted on the transgender community by conservatives like Trump and Charlie Kirk to take a shot. And part of the story is this. An eyewitness, a neighbor from down the street, says that they were live-in roommates, they were partners, and what's more, that prior to the shooting, this is the most important detail as far as I'm concerned, there was a crowd at his house that showed up in cars with out-of-state license plates. And the neighbor said that these people gave him a bad vibe and insinuated they were transgender, maybe radical leftists. Out-of-state license plates. Now, what could this look like? Maybe this is a Discord tranny meetup. This is an extreme, let's act like detectives. This is an extremely online young man. His classmates described him as a Reddit kid. His Facebook photos show that he was a gamer. He had thousands of hours in video games, spent time in online communities on Discord, chatting with his friends while they played video games.
Now, okay, he said, let's be like a detective, right? The whole he's a Reddit kid thing was someone that went to school with him in high school that didn't know him personally, but they viewed him as like a Reddit kid. That is not good enough. Is it important? Yes. But is it good? That's not good enough for quote-unquote detective work, right? And when I say detective, I mean like actual legitimate, like hardcore obsession with finding the answers to the piecing events together, not just willy nilly. Just this. It's not good enough, and we know that, right? I'm not saying Nick's doing it. I'm just saying so far, his words are doing that, right? Maybe he's like, oh well, forget about that. Let's go to the actual crux of the situation. But here we go. Sorry, Nick fans. I know you love his voice. Here we go. And his haircut.
Maybe he
and his
was
suit.
gay. Maybe he
Weirdos.
was queer himself. He was dating a transsexual. Maybe he was passionate about LGBT.
We don't know that either,
causes.
Nick. But there you go. Possibilities.
Maybe before Charlie Kirk showed up on campus, they invited the online community. And the thing is about online communities, they're not proximate. They're not local. You meet people online, they're from all over. Did his transgender furry community from Discord drive to his house to toast the imminent attack? An attack committed out of passion, out of love for the transgender boyfriend? Perhaps. But that seems a bit presumptuous. That is one explanation. Another is that out-of-state license plates, could these be bad actors? Rental cars, maybe other bad faith actors? Who are these people? Who are the people in his community? And you know what's interesting about all of these incidents every single time? There's always a small, tight-knit community. You ever notice that? The shooter in Minneapolis, the shooter in Wisconsin, the shooter in Buffalo.
I was trying to say.
They always have a small, tight-knit online community
of
Satanists, of mass shooting enthusiasts, of racists, of trannies. And yet, we never hear of other arrests, do we? We never hear of a crackdown. We never hear about a network. And isn't that the sort of thing that you would need to see? Not just the least bit because you're bringing accomplices to justice, but also to create a deterrent against other people that might not say anything, that might not speak up when they witness a crime that might be forthcoming.
Okay. I think he's saying with individual cases, the circumstantial shit around possibly other people. That's fine. But something like, I don't know, it's trans or left wing or right, it's too vague. Unless you're a really in deep cunt that you fucking, hey, you're trans, get over here. They pull you over for being trans or some shit like that, right? That can't be the right answer. So I assume he means not people in some sort of group, but people surrounding the person that does something harmful to someone else. That I will say, fair enough. That makes sense to do, I guess. Not that I trust the way cops handle things, but I mean, if they're gonna do things a certain way, at least be consistent, right? So here we go.
So that's why I say we don't have all the information here yet. There are a lot of discrepancies. There are a lot of unanswered questions. Were there people with out-of-state license plates? Was that this neighbor's imagination, or was that real? He said they gave him a bad vibe. Certainly, if out-of-state people that do not belong in St. George, Utah, if they're showing up to this killer's house in the week before the shooting, they should all be persons of interest. And it raises a lot of questions. And we can't assume that they're just tranny furries from Discord or something, although that is a plausible explanation.
It doesn't sound too plausible.
Now, there's some other problems with the theory. If our going theory is that he's some political extremist, what is really notable, it's not just what we see, it's what we don't see. What we see now are a collection of curated Discord messages. We see one Discord message that he sent confessing the crime, and a handful of others from a server shortly after the crime was committed. We're supposed to believe this is a radicalized, leftist, took the shot, etc. But you know the thing about young, radical, political people on the internet? You know, they tend to broadcast their opinions. Have you ever met extremely political, extremely online young people? They have a tendency to not be able to keep it in their pants, take it from me, take it from anybody. Where's the TikTok? Where's the
Pause.
Instagram? Where's the Twitter? You're telling me there is no digital footprint? A person feels so strongly that allegedly they've been harboring this hatred, political extremism for a long time. It's been festering. It bubbles over into a deadly attack one day all of a sudden. But this happens completely in private. No one knows. The only evidence of a interior transformation on the part of the killer is testimony about a family dinner where allegedly Charlie Kirk's forthcoming college visit was discussed and liberal opinions were expressed at the dinner table. That's it. No tweets, no Instagram, no TikToks, no nothing. And you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me a lot of Thomas Crooks, the shooter at Butler. Remember that 18-year-old high schooler that shot Trump randomly in Butler? Another political extremist with no digital footprint. That's pretty, one, you might say it's possible, but two, the person that shot Trump in the head in the pursuit of political extremism had no digital footprint, no political digital footprint. The person that shot Charlie Kirk in the neck and killed him, also zero digital footprint other than a Steam collection. Seriously?
I mean, now the Butler thing, I have less understanding of it and less details about it. But this thing I do. As far as the Charlie Kirk thing. And when I see Kash Patel saying certain things like openly on the news, or like governor talking out loud, it does come off as very weird. I'll be honest with you. Like my intuition's like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? So these are like, in my opinion, legit questions that Nick could ask, or anyone could ask. But like, I'm watching him, so I'm saying like, yeah, this is legit to ask questions about this shit because it's very fucking weird, extremely fucking weird. Even the way the governor tried to go over the dinner table, or I guess the Tyler Robinson guy showed up for dinner, a few days before he did the action, allegedly, I guess, and the way he even said it, like talked about it, was like, yo, how come there's no? Is there a follow-up question to this to make him like pin down exactly what he means by like who said what and when? Right? Who was saying something like, "Oh, he spreads hate, and he's a hateful person"? Like, who said this directly? Like, was it a tandem? Was it a family member and the Tyler Robinson guy like talking together saying that? Was it the Robinson kid by himself? The Tyler kid by himself? Like, what are the details with that? I'm telling you, man. Either, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the South Park episode where they're like, "Yo, listen, we leave things to make the public think that we actually did 9/11 ourselves for the sake of giving us power, because they think we did some crazy ass shit. That means we're like all powerful." Which is, I think, it's a stupid notion by South Park, but like the idea of that, I'm saying, I can't say I know, because Kash Patel is fucking this shit up, bare minimum, or the police, right? Maybe he's a figurehead. Someone like, as far as like who's releasing information, is fucking shit up, straight up. But all right, here we go.
It's a bit strange.
I agree.
Now, there is a plausible explanation for this. And other people have pointed this out, and I don't think this is inappropriate to say. When you look at this person's face and when you hear the testimony from people that knew him, he strikes me as an autistic loser, basically. He had thousands of hours logged on video games. He's got a Facebook picture from when he was in grade school, receiving computer accessories for Christmas, playing on the computer. This was an extremely online Zoomer. And being an extremely online Zoomer, I can tell you, if you're a Zoomer, you know what I'm talking about. There is a species of extremely online Zoomer that actually is discreet. There are gamers, there are autistic gamers out there that are not good looking, that are not sociable, and they're obsessed with politics, and they're obsessed with video games, and they do only have a Discord, let's say. They don't actually have an Instagram. They don't have a Facebook. They don't have a Twitter account.
Wait. Hold on. I have a Discord. Wait, I do have a Twitter account. I'm not Gen Z either, so... Fuck! What do I do? Am I one of these guys? What happens? There we go. Sorry, here we go.
They do exist. There are these people, and it's a different species of extremely online Zoomer, but they might just have a Reddit. They might just have a Discord. They might, because they're ugly, quite frankly.
I'm not ugly,
not popular.
Though.
Why would they be posting on
very
Instagram?
Popular.
They're not good looking. They probably did not have a social circle in high school. What are they going to post? The pictures of parties they never went to, trips they never went on. For who? They're 0 followers. That is, I happen to know, being on the right-wing side of things, there is a species of autistic, anti- or asocial Zoomers that do not maintain a lot of public-facing social media. It's possible. To me, it's very conspicuous. It's very strange, but it's not impossible. And what I am curious about is what social media footprint does exist. We need to know. If there is a footprint, we need to know what it is. What accounts did he have? Which accounts did he have that he might have deleted? Did he have public posts? What were they? He was clearly in Discord servers. According to Steven Crowder, who apparently has a pipeline to the intelligence community, the Mug Club knows Al-Qaeda's next move for some reason. They know everything that the NSA knows. Okay. According to Steven Crowder, who's been vindicated on these things before, he was involved in communist groups in Utah. Communist far-left servers on Discord.
So?
And that has also been seconded without much detail from law enforcement. So it is possible.
Well, they also said, I'm sorry, like, the guy apparently left a message in one of these Discords, I guess, he's in, where he's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I did this, guys, I'm sorry. You guys were nothing but nice to me, but I'm going to turn myself in now. It's kind of the paraphrasing of the message, which means those guys were not talking about anything like that, most likely. Unless they were, like, maybe trolling, I guess. I don't know. Here we go.
Possible. Now, this is the portrait of the killer. The last piece of evidence to me, which is maybe the most damning about the killer, is this. We have all seen that there were multiple people who were local that seem to have had advanced knowledge of the attack. There were not just a few people who on X and on TikTok seem to have telegraphed the attack in advance. And there were multiple posts from different users that were connected in one way or another to the killer that said, if Charlie Kirk shows up, he will be liquidated. Something will happen big tomorrow.
But nothing
Don't show up
enough
to the campus. Now, if someone had advanced knowledge and they were broadcasting it that confidently and that openly,
what I've already heard on the
internet.
That's a sloppy
job.
You know,
that is a sloppy job, and that does look like there was a tranny furry meetup at Robinson's house. Maybe they had a big tranny orgy, and they toasted their ally who
life.
was going to take out the Nazi Charlie Kirk. What a ridiculous sentiment. Charlie Kirk was anything but a Nazi. And then they could not help themselves. They bragged about it. He took the shot. They felt remorse, put out their alibi. He drove home, got nervous, opened up his big fat mouth, went and turned himself in, and then heard they were talking about the death penalty, maybe talked to a public defender. Now he doesn't want to cooperate. Maybe he thinks he could get a deal. That is certainly one story.
Yeah.
But here is the thing about the official narrative. We cannot take any of these things for granted. These are the questions that need to be answered. These are the discrepancies. What did Discord know? When did they know it? Why did they say that there were no messages? Is it because they were being weaselly and the attack was not coordinated on Discord, even though clearly the killer was talking about it on Discord? Is that what they meant? Or did something change in the past week? We need to know that.
Fair enough.
Who were these out-of-state license plates at his residence prior to the attack? What were these posts that seem to have had advanced knowledge of the attack? Who were the people that he confessed to on Discord, and who was involved in the Discord communities with him? What were the names of the communities? We need to have all of the available footage, all of the security cameras, all of the ring cameras. We need to see the footage. How did he get from point A to point B? How did he get from his house to the campus and from his campus back to the house?
Did they replace Epstein with a new Epstein almost of like, we need the files released, right? Almost in a way. Like it kind of comes off that way to me, at least. It's like actually. So yeah, it's the files. There we go.
We need to see that chain of custody. We need to see
This chat is fucking
all
crazy
of the
too,
evidence.
though.
Otherwise, we cannot take any of it for granted.
I think that's kind of
With
Rumble
that being
in
said,
general, in a way.
I do believe that is probably the most
gamers.
plausible explanation. I'm a rational person, and like I said, looking at the layout of the campus, unfortunately,
You're not that rational, Nick.
when you realize that security is not always competent, these are things that sometimes do happen.
Yeah.
There is a left wing in this country. It is extremely radical. There are young people in this country that are being radicalized on the internet. That's real. It happens all the time. The same day as the shooting against Charlie Kirk, there was a school shooting in Denver by a 16-year-old white male who was obsessed with Columbine. And that had nothing to do with Israel, and that had
He's repeating headlines.
the extent that we know, that had no geopolitical ramifications. And that was on the heels of a transsexual that shot up a Catholic church in Minnesota last week, and a black fellow that shot up people in Tennessee in January, and a tranny that shot up a Catholic school in Wisconsin a few months before that. There is a problem here. There is clearly a problem, as everyone has admitted, of these communities on the internet, young people that are spending way too much time on them, carrying out acts of violence in the name of various ideologies, irony, nihilism. And maybe this was a part of that. Certainly, these are things that happen. It's an explanation that's worth entertaining. But we do need to iron out all those inconsistencies and discrepancies. We need all the information.
Whatever.
I want to move on to the theory that Israel was somehow involved.
There we go.
I'm going to be upfront with you. I find this to be unconvincing. And I will explain in rigorous detail why.
Wait till I see Candace, though.
When we implicate Israel, or I should say, when Israel implicates itself in various conspiracies, there's usually a reason why. I believe fully that Israel was involved, and the organized Jewish community was involved in many of the great conspiracies of the past 200 years. And I could tell you in one sentence why for each of them. I don't look at a crisis or a tragedy and assume that Israel did it. Contrary to what people like Ben Shapiro say, that I trip on my shoelaces and blame the Jews, I don't rush to judgment and think that Israel is behind every crisis or every disaster or anything. I do believe that Israel was involved in JFK's assassination. Why? Because Lee Harvey Oswald had CIA handlers. James Angleton was running that team of handlers.
Lee Oswald Harvey.
Many of them were Jewish. And James Angleton is mourned in Israel. He managed the Israeli desk at the CIA. He traded U.S. nuclear secrets to Israel for intelligence on the Soviet Union. Jack Ruby, a Jewish mobster connected to Meyer Lansky that ran guns to Israel, killed Lee Harvey Oswald. Why do I think Israel was involved? That's why. How about
Lee
the
Oswald
USS
Harvey.
Liberty? Well, Israeli fighter jets blew up the ship to cover up their activities in the Six-Day War in 1967. Enough said. At 9/11, why do we believe Israel was involved? Because they were arrested on 9/11. Because a 911 call was placed, and according to FOIA requests,
4 guys or 5 guys?
at least 4, but up to 6 Israeli intelligence operatives were arrested filming the towers collapsing in free fall, apparently with prior knowledge of the attack. And later in the day, Urban Moving Systems was apprehended by police with explosives in their van, and they were released without any incident. When we look at
It's not real, bro.
a survey of the biggest conspiracies of the past
I
70
asked
years,
Alexa.
these are just 3.
She didn't have an answer for me.
There's always a connection.
Can't be real.
We don't start with Israel did it, now here's how we can make it work. We start with the evidence. And we survey the evidence, and if we can find a motive, and if we can find a
What you wanna do, I
connection,
would hope.
then we can plausibly create a conjecture or postulate that Israel might be involved. What was Israel's motive in JFK? He was going to deprive them of their nuclear capability. What's the connection?
Not good
James
enough.
Angleton, Jack Ruby, enough said.
Not good enough.
USS
But okay.
Liberty, what was their motive? Conceal their maneuvering in the Six-Day War. What was the connection? Well, they blew up the shit. Enough said. They blew up the ship. Enough said.
A little bit more
9/11,
legitimate.
what was the motive? Get America into Iraq, and then Syria, and then Iran, and everywhere. What was the connection? They were dancing. You had thousands of
dancing.
art students apprehended in federal government buildings. Went to war the next day. The war plans were on Bush's desk the day before. Enough said.
That would work in favor of the U.S.
But this
as much as anyone else.
This is why I'm
But-
skeptical
Go.
about Charlie Kirk. I said on Thursday that I didn't like Charlie Kirk. He was my opponent. A lot of people that have never seen my show before said, why was Charlie Kirk your opponent? Well, 6 years ago, I had my first interaction with Charlie Kirk in 2019. In the summer of 2019, I was banned from speaking at any Turning Point USA chapter or any Turning Point USA event. I didn't know why. I attended a party with Ashley St. Clair in September of 2019. I took a photo with her. She was a Turning Point ambassador at that time. When Turning Point caught wind that she was in a photograph with me, they terminated her from the ambassador program. I attended the Politicon event in, I believe, October 2019. I was physically removed from the event by a dozen police officers at the behest of Charlie Kirk. I had no idea why. In 2019, my followers began to attend Charlie Kirk's Q&A sessions at his college tour. We were much younger back then. He was younger. I was younger. It was 6 years ago, almost to the day. And my followers would approach Charlie Kirk and ask questions like, Google dancing Israelis. Why did Israel blow up the USS Liberty? They would say, should it be America first or Israel first?
remember you bringing
And they
this
would
up,
press Charlie Kirk, among other things, on why he supported Israel. Now, in 2019, there was a very different Charlie Kirk than there is in 2025. In 2019, Charlie Kirk visited Israel and said he loved the food, the people, he wore the hat, he kissed the wall. In 2019, he went to donor events and said that, you know, the people, the land in America, they really mean nothing. America's about the Constitution. And if you gave a desert island with a desert island population the Constitution, that would be America. He said, but Israel's different. Their land, their people is holy and sacred, and their nationalism must be respected. This is what mainstream conservatism was in 2019.
Charlie would use the Bible to also argue for why we need to support Israel no matter what. Let's be honest. But, okay, here we go.
And there were very few people pushing back against it. I was one of them. Michelle Malkin was another. The Groypers led the charge in the Groyper War. Okay. And the Groyper War, unlike these far-left people or others, was a war of ideas. Our greatest aspiration, maybe my greatest professional aspiration for the past 6 years, was to debate Charlie Kirk, to confront him in a debate on this issue in particular. That was my grievance with Charlie Kirk. And for years, my perception of him, and this was also the reality, is that although I believe his heart was in the right place, and I think that he was the defender of the truth on some other issues, or came to be a defender of the truth on other issues, I do believe that he was complicit in the Israeli capture of the right wing for a very long time.
Charlie's not old enough for that. Now, did he play his role? You bet your ass he did. He definitely did. But he's not old enough to be a part of the... I don't know. Well, maybe I'm fucking Nick's words up with this. But he's not... He's not integral. If he wasn't doing his thing, like in that direction, they kick him out. Do something different. Pretty obvious. Right? So, this thing has been a thing for a while now, to be blatantly honest with you. Marketing and PR and justifications and all the events that led to what we're seeing now today were built years ago. Years and years and years ago. And it's fucking obvious, too. It's blatantly obvious. But, yeah. Charlie Kirk he's just another guy doing the same thing. But I wonder where Nick goes with this. I wonder if he's going to go with, like, oh, well, Charlie was starting to change his mind, so now it's this. I wonder. Here we go.
And that is unfortunately just the truth. And as much as we can grieve and as much as we can mourn and we can say that obviously he did not deserve what happened to him, we cannot fall into the trap of creating a mythology that does not reflect reality. It is true that for year after year, Turning Point USA grew and grew with sponsorship from Israeli, pro-Israel, Jewish, Zionist donors. And they did this because Turning Point USA was an extremely pro-Israel organization. And anybody that has ever been in Turning Point USA will tell you that same thing.
Mainstream Republican.
They give you a box of stickers and buttons and posters, and many of them say things like, socialism sucks, and enjoy capitalism. And many of them say, support Israel. Many of them say, I heart Israel. And as we all know, Turning Point USA was part of the conservative activist enterprise, which was funded to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars by Jewish donors to indoctrinate young American conservatives with a pro-Israel ideology, alongside Prager University, alongside Daily Wire, alongside many other similar projects. That's the pretext under which it was founded with Foster Fries's money, and that's how it was right up until last week and to today. So this is why I say I find it very unconvincing and very unlikely that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. And the reason why I find it almost ridiculous is, as I said, because for the past 6 years, that has actually been the cleavage issue. That has been the subject.
Cleavage?
That I have fought Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA on for the better part of my career, for nearly a decade.
Okay. Yeah, TPUSA and Charlie Kirk and all these guys, they've been horrendous on this issue. I mean, like events like I know there's people that like see like October 7th, right? After that, they're like, okay, look at the massacres happening, and Charlie's out here defending it. But guess what? It was already a thing years and years before all that. Quite blatantly too, and I think Nick would agree with that. Granted, he kind of like capitalized off of it quite a bit, like leaned very heavy into it. They with people that only see certain things instead of like actually looking at things themselves. All right, so it worked in that direction. But it, it, I borderline agree with Nick about like, why would they do this? This guy's been so heavily in favor of something. That's right, W's. That's right, W's everywhere. To where like makes it feel unbelievable. That's kind of where I'm at, kind of. But I'll leave room. I'll hear out even psychopaths like Candace Owens. I'll hear her out and see where she's at in regards to these things, or Max Blumenthal, or whoever the fuck, right? I'll leave room for explanations and arguments. It's just, it wouldn't make sense for the Israeli side of things to try to kill Charlie Kirk. Well, outside of, listen, we're about to occupy a giant portion of Gaza, destroy it and the people there, and this will work as a distraction. That's the best I can come up with. Otherwise, I don't see it. I really don't. But I leave room. It's possible. I leave room for possibilities for sure. I mean, I call these people devil worshippers for a fucking reason, right? So I can believe someone would do something as stupid as this, or as like criminal as this, to boost something else up. I leave room for that. I'm not seeing it yet though. So I'm kind of with Nick on this. Not the same way, though. Not the same way, but the end conclusion, sure. All right, here we go.
That is why I was not permitted into his events. That is why he refused to debate me. That is why he characterized me as a bad faith troll, among other things. That was the reason for our initial conflict. And I don't want to relitigate all of it, but this has become the subject of careful scrutiny. There is a question now. Who killed this man? Was it his enemies on the left? Was it his enemies on the right? Was it his enemies closest to him, perhaps the Zionist donors? I don't say any of this.
Sorry, if you grab a sniper rifle and shoot someone and kill them, I don't think you're on the left or the right. I think you're in your own pathology. I'll say that. But I understand people don't think that way, but that's my belief. Here we go.
For any reason, obviously, dead men tell no tales. I do not say this to speak ill of the dead. I do not say this to get my 2 cents in. I say this for the record. This is the record of history. That was our ideological and professional conflict. That was our feud. And the tragedy on Wednesday, it doesn't change that history. That was the basis for it. So to me, it is very unlikely that the Israelis had it out for him because, well, why would they? Charlie Kirk was a steadfast ally of Israel for his entire career.
Yes.
Charlie Kirk was pro-Israel explicitly, publicly, steadfastly, for years, right up until his death. That is the sober and realistic fact. So the question is,
But
why does everybody believe that Israel was implicated last week? Well, there is a narrative that has been promulgated that Charlie Kirk was on the verge of a great conversion. The narrative is, in light
nothing
of
based on
the record of history and where Charlie Kirk was in his journey, the argument goes that this year, recently, in response to recent developments like the turning of Candace Owens, the turning of Tucker Carlson, the genocide in Gaza, and the beating of the war drums in Iran, that Charlie Kirk was undergoing a change of heart, and that there was an interior and a private struggle, that Charlie Kirk was changing his mind, and as a result, he was chafing with his Jewish donors. There was a tension. He was created by Jewish donors. He was funded by Jewish donors. Jewish donors were his patrons. And so the story goes, like many of us, we are all in a different place in our journey, and some have awakened later than others. Charlie Kirk, like anybody, was discovering the truth. And he was having a faith awakening, maybe converting to Catholicism, recognizing the tension between religious Judaism and Christianity, or the brutality in Gaza with the tenets of the gospel. And also an ideological conversion, realizing that a Israeli capture of American foreign policy is in complete contravention of an America First foreign policy, which he advocates for.
more generalities that don't actually work in reality. I don't think. Sorry, Nick. Those don't work for me. Of you could say Judaism or conversions and all. Let's be honest. It's actually about you can have a person in power that state themselves as being this or being that, but their behaviors aren't actually based in this or that. It could be straight up about their political power, about, hey, I want this, McDonald's fucking built in Gaza City. So thus I will do these actions to make sure McDonald's happens there. Which has nothing to fucking do with God or religion or denomination. Straight up. But Nick is making these wide generalizations because he's a fucking child or an idiot or full of shit. Straight up. And I know. Someone will tell me, shut the fuck up, Jordan. Nick talks so smoothly, he must know what he's talking about. But in reality, it's he sounds like a fucking nincompoop when he talks about this shit. He actually does. Sounds like a fucking dummy. But don't worry, Nick. Although you don't know these people, they will come to me on your behalf to defend you. Because they like your suit or your haircut or your voice or the way you say words or the way you string words together. And that will be good enough. Nothing to do with your character. They don't even care about your fucking character. That's irrelevant. You are irrelevant. Just like Charlie was irrelevant in that moment, right? Wasn't he? In all intensive purposes, was Charlie not irrelevant? Including to you, Nick. Was he not irrelevant? He was. Meaning he had to die and get sacrificed or some weird shit like that before you're like, oh my god, Charlie Kirk? Oh, I care. All of a sudden. Yeah. You fucking dummies. Anyways, here we go. W's in the chat. Here we go.
And so the story goes, Charlie Kirk was changing his mind on these issues. He was expressing it privately. He was telegraphing or signaling that the ship would be righted and that he was beginning to resist the most zealous, fanatical, demanding Israel First donors. And the prospect of someone so powerful like Charlie Kirk, particularly among the young right-wing conservatives of America, it was too much of a risk for Israel to tolerate. So they took him out. Before he could leave the pro-Israel plantation and take all the young conservatives with him, the story goes that they eliminated him and perhaps set up somebody like Ben Shapiro to take his place. So that when the false flag occurs, and it will, you hope it doesn't, but it looks likely, when the call for a war in Iran becomes deafening, they will have someone reliable, someone predictable, someone that they have certainty. Why take a chance? Someone that they are certain will toe the line and push America and its youth to support a war. That's the story. Now, what is the evidence for this narrative? Well, there are some public examples. There is a video from October 2023, 2 years ago, where Charlie Kirk takes out his frustration at secular Jewish donors that support left-wing causes, like mass immigration and social liberal causes.
It's the same idea as Stephen Crowder doing the same thing.
And then they expect that young white conservatives will turn around and support the Zionist cause. This is a clip from 2 years ago. There are other clips, like a recent interview with Megyn Kelly in August, where Charlie Kirk is clearly frustrated, visibly frustrated and perturbed at how he has been a defender of Israel, considers himself still a defender of Israel, and yet there is a powerful chorus of stakeholders, leaders in the pro-Israel movement who are not just disagreeing with him, but viciously attacking him and impugning his motivations, calling him an anti-Semite. In other words, Charlie Kirk is saying, is it not good enough that I'm an ally, I'm listening, I've supported you for years? Not only is it not good enough, but now you attack me? You say I'm evil? How dare you? I'm an American. What do you expect this relationship is supposed to be? And so Charlie Kirk...
Nick, that screams just as loudly that did Charlie realize what the audience wants to hear? So thus he's kind of giving it to them, to maintain their minds, to pull them in a different direction. Or sorry, pull them in a direction that he wants them to go in. Or his friends, or whatever the fuck you want to say. All right? Okay, hey guys, I have to criticize Israel to get you to move this direction. This is very much possible. Just like when they release White House reports of Donald Trump is really frustrated with Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump is really pissed off at Israel, what they're doing. None of them know what the fuck they're doing. All those little things. Now, if you tell me that's not possible, I don't know what to fucking tell you, dude. I'd call you a fucking child at that point. Like, come on. Did Charlie make a hardcore? Yo, listen. They're fucking murdering people over there, dude. Here's the evidence. I will sacrifice my platform for this cause or idea. Did you see that, Nick? If you didn't see that, I'm sorry. You can't just leap to something else. I understand he's using that as like an idea of possibilities. Fine. But like, Charlie Kirk, a little bit turning on a topic, not even like fully, but just like a little bit turning on a topic, was like, all right, DEFCON 8, snipe him. Come on. But you know what? I'm sorry, Nick fans. I know you love the sound of his voice and his haircut and his suits and stuff like that, but you know what? I'm going to move on to Candace because I want to hear her perspective about all of this because I think she's going to go full bore. It was Israel. Here we go. As they launch an offensive, by the way. But instead, the headlines will read, did Israel kill Charlie Kirk? All right. But meanwhile, they're like actually land grabbing and taking over another country, essentially a country, and massacring them while they do it. But anyways, here we go.
All right, you guys, we're going to jump right into this with no introduction.
God
There's a
bless
lot that I would like to
Candace.
speak with you guys about. Can't wait to hear your
It's a truth
feedback.
teller.
A lot of lies that are being put out there, narratives that I would say are half truths or just misrepresentations entirely. And I don't really.
Forgive me, guys. Nick shit got fucking like it's. He says he's trying to be like careful and calculated about everything, but it like looks sloppy and silly to me. And it's like, damn, if those were my standards, you wouldn't release that fucking video, would you? Or like say those things, I guess. Then again, I understand. I think I needed like 1 million more subscribers to for that to be legitimate to other people. I'm just saying. But anyways, here we go. Here's Candace. She knows.
See the reason for that. First and foremost, I'll let you know, last week was not a dream. Charlie Kirk, my friend, is dead. And he was publicly executed. I want to make that clear. Charlie Kirk was publicly executed before the world. And as we are all searching for answers, the ones that are being supplied to us are not making a lot of sense. And some people, I would say, are speaking too much, are speaking on behalf of other people. I don't like it.
Show me, Candace. Show me the answers, please.
We'll say something that I think brought the world a lot of relief, also, sadness. We were grieving with her, was when his wife, Mrs. Erica Kirk, addressed not just the nation, but the entire world. Her words were very powerful. And we just have a very brief portion of her remarks, which you should pursue in their entirety. But here she is.
If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die.
And if someone takes your words the wrong way, do you care about that? Are you worried about that? I understand she's a grieving widow thing, but I don't know, essentially. I don't know. And guess what? The good people have to clean up the fucking messes. You fucking idiots. You dummies out there. We have to clean up your fucking messes when you do weird shit out of whatever reason. Because you're in pain, that means, yeah, go ahead, dude. Please do something else. Blow up the fucking world. Isn't that the excuse for the fucking shooter of Charlie Kirk? I'm in pain, man. If you felt my pain, you did the same thing. Or whatever. But don't worry. I'm sure someone's telling me to shut up right now. Here we go. Because they know better. Here we go. The geniuses.
Beautiful, powerful words. Charlie had just one wife. What we got to see across this weekend is that there were so many people around the world, like she said, who were deeply moved by Charlie Kirk throughout their lives, and of course have been deeply moved by this tragedy and what she is describing there.
My humble opinion.
Fire. A lot of us are feeling it. I am definitely feeling it. I had a
I believe
very
you, Candace.
tough
I
weekend.
totally believe you.
A very tough weekend. I will say this. My entire life, I've not been much of a crier. It is not my choice emotion. I'm not a person who bursts into tears, and some people are like that. This weekend, I didn't just cry. I wept. I wept for Charlie, obviously. I didn't make it through the tribute to him on Friday. And
you're bragging about it like a psycho.
For those of you who wanted to see me in a moment of weakness, that was delivered to you. Fair. Yeah, I watched my friend get shot in the neck. Yeah, that's what happened. I just want to say that he was publicly executed again before the world. The question is why, right?
Someone's a fucking psycho tonight.
When you are in a state of grief, you go through a lot of emotions, and I'm arriving right now at a lot of anger. The audacity of some people. It has taken much restraint and prayer, and I had to speak with a priest. I had to go to confession. these emotions that I am having, wanting to respond with Charlie in his own words, really. People that are coming forward and saying this is what he thought and this is how he should be remembered. It just feels really inappropriate to me. I didn't know what to do other than to scroll through messages between me and Charlie, regarding which there are a ton of them. And kept going back and watching the video, the many videos of us dancing to the song Power. And it felt appropriate to reach out to Ye, speaking about things, talking about his mode when he wrote the song. You know, when you wrote the song Power, why did we have it as our hype song? Because the song is about the ability to find it within yourself to become what you know you are capable of becoming inside of a matrix, when you just realize everything is dishonest, that everything is performative, that people are dishonest, that they are going to try to stop you from being great. In fact, it's the end of the song. The question that he asks at the end of the song, that's the most important. Ye asks, do you have the power to let power go? Do you have the power to say no to power? You know, I told you guys that Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation at the end, and all of the usual suspects were really angry that I hinted towards that. What do you mean? You're not allowed to say that. They were attacking me, trying to make me fearful, to speak out and speak about the things that I know. I'm not feeling very fearful right now. I am, like I said, very angry. And I found, Charlie's favorite portion of the song. I'll show you the text between him and I, because this feels very relevant right now. This is, again, lyrics directly from the song Power, but I just needed time alone with my own thoughts, got treasures in my mind, but couldn't open up my own vault. My childlike creativity, purity, and honesty is honestly being crowded by these grown thoughts. Reality is catching up with me. Taking my inner child, I'm fighting for custody with these responsibilities that they entrusted me. And that's a moment where he is really speaking about how hard it is. Like when you're saying, no, this is what I believe. And they say, you're not allowed to believe that. You feel like you are fighting for custody of yourself. And I want to be very clear that I believe, in fact, I know that towards the end, Charlie was fighting for custody of himself. I want to say that. I want to say that plainly. And there are lies that are being told and they need to be slapped down right now. There's one person who's been out there acting like he is a widow, you know, just saying the absolute most, tweeting first about what happened to Charlie, following it minute to minute, you know, and doing hits in a foreign country, right? Like making time to do hits on Fox News, 2 of them. Bibi Netanyahu who's fighting, I think, like an 84 front war with everyone, made a lot of time for Charlie Kirk. You would have thought they were the best of friends, as close as him and Trump were. But I will say I don't recall Erica mentioning Bibi Netanyahu in her speech. The way he's presenting it is like he was I mean, this is just the worst loss for him, but I don't think that is...
I'm sorry, guys. Are we this fucking dog shit? Are we? As humans? These are the best of the best? Nick and fucking Candace? Oh my god. We are so fucked. We are actually fucked. We are actually fucked. Holy Christ, dude. These are our best? Christ. Here we go. I'll shut up. Sorry.
The truth,
sorry for talking,
in fact,
guys.
I know for a fact
on my own
that he is
channel.
misrepresenting some things that happened there towards
Candace.
the end. So let's at first listen to what Bibi Netanyahu, just one day, less than 24 hours after Charlie died, what Bibi Netanyahu had to say on Fox News. Take a listen.
We're just heartbroken.
I don't believe you, Candace.
Myself, my wife, my family, my son actually, on his 2019 visit to Israel, had lunch with him and his wife, Erica. We're shattered first as human beings because a great human being has been taken from us. Was an extraordinary friend. He said, he wrote me a letter on May 2nd this year. He said, one of my greatest joys as a Christian is advocating for Israel and forming alliances to defend Judeo-Christian civilization. a few weeks before the tragedy yesterday, I called him and I spoke to him and I said, please come to Israel. I invited him to Israel. And sadly, that visit will not take place. But he was a defender of our common Judeo-Christian civilization. He was unbelievably excited to walk in the footsteps of Jesus here. He valued our bond, the bond between America and Israel. He did so many things to defend free speech. He had his truth. He stood up for it. But he said, you can come and debate me. He invited that debate. He certainly didn't invite the violence, the horrible violence that tried to silence him. And this is a worldwide problem. The people on the extremes, the Islamists, the radical Islamists, and their union with the ultra progressives, they often speak about human rights. They speak about free speech, but they use violence to try to take down their enemies. Whether it's President Trump, who's been almost assassinated twice, or they try to kill me here too. But they got Charlie Kirk, and it's just heartbreaking.
Who is they, BB? Who is they?
This woman's a
Who got
fucking
Charlie
actor.
Kirk?
I'm freaked out.
We don't have to actually speak conspiracies. I'm just wondering, because you said a lot there, but it really sounded like it was about BB trying to establish a narrative that we saw reinforced by a lot of people, that, Charlie kind of made it almost sound like he died for Israel. I mean, Trump's account even tweeted out a photo of Charlie and an American flag and also an Israeli flag, a bit of AI used, like this is just who Charlie was. He says Judeo-Christian values. He spoke to him 2 weeks ago. Again, you would think he was busy fighting this 97,000 front war, but no, he's letting you know that he just randomly picks up the phone and calls Charlie Kirk and invites him to Israel. Why would BB do that? It seems like maybe there's a little more to the story. No, there definitely is a little bit more to the story. First and foremost,
yeah, maybe they did hear Charlie's maybe his language changed towards Israel. Not, in my opinion, not because of his own, volition, but because of the audience. They're like, "Yo, Charlie, how could you support Israel when they're doing this?" That seems more likely, personally. But okay, sure. Why wouldn't they just invite him to Israel and that's it? Why the fuck with it? All right, we need Charlie, but we lost Charlie. Okay, kill him. Don't worry, Candace is here to make money off of all that. Gonna get rich off of this. Just so you know. But here we go. I'll shut up. Sorry.
that letter he is holding up, he is severely misrepresenting. Those sentences are real, but I am calling upon Bibi Netanyahu, the dear friend to Charlie Kirk, to publish the letter's entire contents. Like, don't start with just 2 sentences. Publish the entire thing. You're holding it. I'm saying you're severely misrepresenting the contents, that in May, Charlie was concerned about Israel and their influence on American politics and how they were pushing things that he felt were in conflict with his beliefs, free speech here in America. Bibi's holding it up like Charlie just in May said, hey, you know what? I just want to write a love letter to Israel. That's how it was presented. Would you guys agree? That's not how it happened. Now, regarding that phone call and that invite, that also needs to be contextualized. And I'm going to do that. But first, Skylar, can we bring in a clip of Charlie from a month ago speaking about the kind of pressure that he was under? Because I think that will also help to further contextualize this. Take a listen.
I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megan, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been so unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, I mean, you saw it, Megan. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper paranoid state because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white, and you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megan. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? Like, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
I'm a Christian. I want Israel to win. I don't get what was so like. Why would the nation or the intelligence agencies or the higher ups in Israel give a fuck about that statement? Why the fuck would they care about that? But Candace gives you a look of like, you see, look, see. I'm like, the fuck was actually said? The fuck? In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if someone was like so overly pro-Israel, they'd be like, yo, guys, yo, chill out. Yo, chill out, man. You're like, you know what? We should bomb the entire world for Israel. I think then I would be like, yo, chill out, bro. Chill out. You're doing too much. But Candace has this look on her face of like, see? This tacit, tepid, lukewarm fucking barely a critique of Israel type of shit. Not Israel, but like the government of Israel, right? Like, come on. This is like, I've seen that clip circulating. I've seen it myself, like way before Charlie died, right? And hearing it now again after the context of Charlie getting shot and killed, it's a nothing burger to me. It really is. Like, what the fuck is this? This is your evidence? Like, see, look. Like, what? Like, come on. It's almost like Megyn Kelly with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, she's no fucking threat to like what's going on over there. Right, they're massacring people. The government is massacring people in the military, massacring people in fucking droves, bro. By the thousands, they are massacring people. Do you think fucking Megyn Kelly's a threat to that? By the way she talks? She doesn't talk about the actual problem of it. Neither did Charlie, you fucking dummies. Bro, this motherfucker's an actor, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. This chick right here is a fucking actor. I'm sorry. I don't smell realness out of her in any sense of the word. I don't. Not a fucking whiff of it. Christ's sakes. She's a more popular black Megyn Kelly to me. I don't believe the fucking words you guys say out loud. Seriously. Christ. But people are going to fall for this. Watch them. Watch them line up. Like fucking bots. Watch them line up. Yeah. We'll see. Don't worry. When the world deems that Candace Owens is the biggest threat to globalism, just like Alex Jones is, you'll fucking see. Nick Fuentes is the biggest threat to fucking globalism. He's a big threat to it. No, they're fucking not. These guys are kindergartners, at best. They're probably something worse, but for now, I'll say kindergartners. At best. But don't worry, I'm a nobody. Let's hear Candace talk. Here we go.
No, it's not defensible to be dumb, and he was under an increasing amount of pressure. Not just people telling him, "Oh,
pressure
well,
he gave himself.
I'm upset with who you're inviting," but flat out telling him that he was not allowed to invite certain people to his events. They were threatening to pull out money. Charlie was getting a lot of really nasty text messages, and many of them pertaining to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. But Tucker Carlson was really the focus when it came to America Fest. Okay. How could Charlie allow these debates about Israel to take place? How could he allow Dave Smith, who, by the way, is Jewish, how could how could Charlie allow this other position to meet the stage? Because obviously when people start to hear the debates, what Dave Smith is saying sounds so rational, but it was up to Charlie to not allow those things to happen. And that amount of pressure towards the end, as you see that conversation he had with Meghan was just a month before he lost his life, really, I would say, reached a pinnacle of sorts on the matter of what Tucker Carlson actually said on that stage. Tucker Carlson, while he was on that stage at Turning Point, brought up Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman is a billionaire, obviously. He is also an extremely litigious billionaire. And Bill Ackman was on Charlie about comments that Tucker Carlson had made on that stage. Tucker Carlson specifically asked the question, where does Bill Ackman's money come from? You know, who is this guy? Actually, who is this guy that has this much influence? And like I said, Bill Ackman was not happy about this. And so I would like to contextualize Bibi. Again, these are things Bibi brought up publicly, which he didn't have to. He didn't have to bring up the letter. He didn't have to bring up the phone call, but he chose to do this less than 24 hours after Charlie Kirk was shot.
Now, I will say this. That story is like the Charlie Kirk in the Hamptons story thing is okay, worthy. Sure. But I feel like my idea of things like I leap further. I'll say, hey man, maybe this is the case. But I don't feel like I'd put a spin on it, like make everyone try to make the audience believe what I believe. It feels like I say things as in like, this is what I'm thinking right now, versus like, I'm gonna get you to believe it too. You see the difference? Anyone? I beg for anyone to actually see that difference. Maybe I'm like tripping, but it feels as though like it's kind of you're kind of leading people in a direction versus like saying like, yo, this is what I think, but I could be wrong. Like, what do you guys think? Right? It feels like, you know, RFK Jr. is being blackmailed again or something. Story-wise, thing. And it feels like there's no actual care about Charlie Kirk himself. There's no care about him, dude. That's the brain-breaking part, is that, like, I feel as though, like, I care about him more than these fucking guys do. That's my feeling. It could be, well, I'll be honest. Okay. Truthfully, in my opinion, they can only tie me. But you can't be less than me. Or, sorry. They could be less than me, is what I mean. It's like, God dang it, dude. What are we doing then? If Charlie, who I've covered his shit, I shit on the fucking guy. He's been full of shit for a while now. And his so-called friends are all leaping out to use his fucking name and story. And I'm like, yo, what is this? Is that okay? Is that normal? Like, whatever. Like I said, I was gonna say it with Nick, where I'm like, I'll watch until I can't stomach anymore, or we're in dum-dum territory, or I feel like I understand Nick's answers or ideas about things. Same goes for Candace, so who knows how long I'd actually last watching this fucking video. But it is what it is. Same time. Here we go.
Personally, Bibi, I would have appreciated if you guys used all of your spyware, you've been spying on us for years, to maybe track down the killer. But I guess this is where you thought it was best to do a little propaganda for Israel would be better than us helping us track down the killer. But anyway, so Bibi Netanyahu in that phone call, what took place.
I'm sorry, that should not be skipped right there. I'm sorry, guys. She's talking about like something like Pegasus, right? Like a program that with like spy tracking style shit, right? you'll come over here to serve Israel, but you won't do it for like Charlie's killer, huh? And it's like, but that's your presupposition on top of another presupposition instead of like being honest about things, right? It's possible they have technology to track whoever, wherever, right? Five eyes, or I guess six eyes, as BB might call it, right? But at the same time, it's like, it just feels like she's leaping off of one theory to another without substantiating the first theory, which should be substantiated first. It's okay to say, I don't know, Candace. It's okay to say, I don't fucking know what's happening, but guess what? I've heard of this idea. That is beautiful. That's the way, in my opinion, the way it's supposed to be fucking done. I don't know exactly what's happening here, but I've heard of this. You should go in that direction. But if someone tells me, like, oh, no, don't worry. Candace is so angry that she's just doing this right now. She's so angry right now. Like, sorry, it doesn't fucking work for you. Sorry, work for me. Guys, I know fucking anger. I know that shit. Very intimately. And posturing and facial reactions and shit like that, bro, ain't my shit. I'm sorry. Maybe she should study her anger more, or a little bit more, if you will. Otherwise, I just see a child running around, if it's actually anger. Otherwise, I see posturing from this woman, bro. No offense to her, just my feeling about her. Like, yo, this woman postures and acts what the audience expects to happen, instead of, like, actual reactions, actually, like, being in something, for real. Whatever, who cares? I know. Go ahead, Candace, do your thing.
Was a couple of weeks ago, before Charlie lost his life.
Candace Owens.
Charlie was in the Hamptons, and he had more than one event, but he had essentially what was staged, an intervention was staged by Bill Ackman, because Charlie's rational thoughts about Israel were a no-no. This is not the route that you should be going on. And Charlie was surrounded by his friends, quote unquote friends. Bill Ackman was very upset, and threats were made. That is what I am told, and I will tell you that I am very happy for Bill Ackman to dispute this narrative. In fact, he was asked to dispute this narrative. Max Blumenthal went out to him today, and Bill Ackman came back and said, I have receipts I can show you. And he did not provide the receipts. This is not how it went down. I know it went down this way. I'm waiting for one of them to go on record and to say that it didn't go down this way. It was at this time that Bibi Netanyahu was called, and Charlie was invited to Israel. This was an under duress situation, I would say, because I've been in these situations before. When I started asking very sensible questions about Israel, as someone who had dedicated her political life to supporting Israel, many times alongside Charlie Kirk, I was met with the very same pressure. And just like Charlie was being invited to Israel, I was invited somewhere else. And when this arrived to me, it felt like a threat. I got to tell you that. It felt like a threat, like not like, hey, come here and we can educate you because you're my friend. More like, this is your last chance. That's how it felt to me. I can't speak to how it felt to Charlie. And I know that Charlie was offered a ton of money in this moment. A ton of money. Bibi would fund it, spend tons of money. And Turning Point, I guess, if it needed to go to a higher level, would have gone to an even higher level than it already was at. And I know for a fact that Charlie denied that funding. That Charlie denied, and what Bibi didn't include there, he declined to go to Israel for, I would describe this as like, re-education camp. We've seen it. You made an oh,
you've seen
but
it.
We can help you. We just need you to come out to Auschwitz and take a picture. Yeah.
That's in Germany.
We just need you to come to the Holocaust Museum and take a photo. We just need you to go to Israel and we can make this better. Charlie said no to BB. Okay. Bill Ackman, if you would like to dispute that, I would love to hear what you say happened, because our sources and what we have, it's solid. Okay. There were conversations that took place, messages that were sent at that time, and they are solid. So I decided another person that was there, and I am not surprised this person was there. If you've been listening to my show, Seth Dillon, I was going to go out to Seth Dillon, and I decided to message him last night about this Hamptons meeting. And Seth Dillon, who is normally very quick with a response, has not yet been able to respond. I'll show you this text message chain. And I want to be clear, I am not someone who normally publicizes text messages, but my friend was shot in the neck, and I'm just not really in the state right now to be polite when it comes to the answers that I am demanding, okay? This is me out to Seth Dillon last night. I sent him Bill Ackman's tweet because...
Okay. Feel incredibly privileged to have spent a day and shared a meal with Charlie Kirk this summer. He was a giant of a man. Pause. Any comment on this one, Seth? Need a comment ASAP, please. Okay, so it's Candace's screenshot. Trying again here. You were present when Wait. You were present when Ackman lost... Oh, okay, to that person. Okay, to the Seth person. Trying again here. You were present when Ackman lost his mind on Charlie and when BB invited him to Israel and Charlie refused. Text messages immediately following the meeting are circulating. I find Ackman's statements as though the meeting was somehow cordial to be incredibly disturbing. Are you all disturbed by that tweet? Do you feel as I do, that this tweet is significantly betrays the defined purpose of the, I assume the meeting? All right. Okay. But I don't know how you, like, once again, it's like someone got fucking shot, right? I guess it's worthy of a thing to follow, but also there's people that might not want to be even associated with it by name at all. At the same time, I'm just saying. But yes, it's worthy, and also Candace's psychopath face in the background. Here we go.
Because, he tweeted, I feel incredibly privileged to have spent a day and shared a meal with Charlie Kirk this summer. He was a giant of a man. I said,
sorry, one more pause here. But why would you, this is not enough. Unless you're saying, Charlie is the Messiah or some shit. What? Why is Charlie that important to, let's kill this guy? Because he might question Israel in some form or fashion? What does that actually do geopolitically? Let's say Charlie Kirk was alive and went full bore, fuck Israel, free Palestine. What the fuck would that actually do? What would that actually do? That's why, logically, it doesn't make sense to me. But, okay. Maybe. Here we go.
Any comment on this one, Seth? You didn't answer last night. This morning I said, need a comment ASAP, please.
And
he didn't answer.
Carving up personalities, I guess.
Then I followed that up and I said, trying again here, you were present when Ackman lost his mind on Charlie and when BB invited him to Israel and Charlie refused. Text messages immediately following this meeting are circulating. I find Ackman's statement, as though the meeting was somehow cordial, to be incredibly disturbing. Are you at all disturbed by that tweet? Do you feel, as I do, that this tweet significantly betrays the defined purpose and mood of his, and I presume your, final meeting with Charlie Kirk, ? He was unable to speak to me, but he did place some frantic calls to Turning Point USA. Yeah. You see, I went out to Seth, but I also went out to two other people who were at this meeting, and nobody is willing to go on record. They're all messaging each other, trying to figure out a coordinated response to say that, no, this was all quite cordial, but no one wants to go on record and describe it as cordial because they know someone's leaking, because someone's got a guilty conscience about what happened at the Hamptons. So I will again put it out there, Seth, Bill Ackman, and to the other individuals who who I have not yet named, but who are going to be named later this week, who were at the Hamptons when Charlie was put under pressure, when Bibi Netanyahu called him and invited him to Israel, again, in a move that when it happened to me, and it wasn't Bibi Netanyahu, felt to me like a laced threat. I am inviting you guys. I will give you my platform, actually, to come clear matters up, to tell us what really happened. Because,
you'll make money
I think
on that.
Charlie
You're giving up your platform, but
was definitely on the brink
of
of changing some of his perspectives. And I can tell you factually, Charlie was praying the rosary. Charlie was going to mass. One of my last conversations with Charlie was me joking with him saying, just make the last step, okay? You are, I said specifically, you're too smart to be a Protestant. Just take the last step, Charlie. He says, ha ha. He was speaking about Mary. And typically when those steps start taking place, you stop referring to yourself, as I did, as a Judeo-Christian.
This person is like, if you think this is for like fixing the world, it doesn't sound like that. It doesn't sound like an investigation into making the world a better place. It sounds like something weirder. And I know there's plenty of people that will fall for this because what to do is say like for me, right? I'm a Braves fan. All you have to say is like, I love the Braves. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good person. This is the same thing to me, same phenomenon. But don't worry, no one's going to hear this, so it'll work, probably, on a good amount of people. A good amount of people. And that's scary to me. It's very scary, especially when it comes to, like, what's the point of this? What's the point of the world? Are we alive? What's the meaning of all this? And Candace Owens is going to offer them a giant gold nugget for them to, like, latch onto. Like, see, I figured it out. Candace told me. It sounds hyperbolic, but at the same time, you fucking watch. Go ahead, watch it. Don't worry, I'll be in my beach chair. Here we go.
Again, it is mystifying why, Bibi was out there doing the absolute most to make sure that Charlie was basically remembered as, I would argue, like a Jew, has not been yet mentioned. I didn't hear that. Erica was very clear that Charlie was a Christian, and I believe.
I didn't even hear that from Bibi, but I didn't play that either. But at the same time, like, yeah, there's plenty of people, including you, Candace, in my humble opinion, that are leaping out using Charlie Kirk's death as a way to push a message or an idea, and ultimately maybe gain followers, gain influence, gain something. It is what it is. It seems pretty, like, actually obvious at this point. Considering some people are like, oh, it's the left. No, it's the right. No, it's trans. No, it's gripers. No, it's, Israel. No, it's, right, just keep leaping from one thing to another. Instead of being like, hey, I don't know. It's like we're trying to use our view of how we idealize Charlie Kirk to decide who killed him, instead of like looking at the person that actually killed him. Then again, I'm using my brain and other people are not, and they're going to fall for dumb fucks like this. I think she's a fucking liar. I think she's abusing you, personally. But you know what? I'm sorry. Fall for psychopathic Oprah. Enjoy it. Not that Oprah's too good, but here we go.
Charlie obviously was very much a Christian, and that things are not being told truthfully. In fact, I will also call upon, since we're having fun, Turning Point USA to release the audio of what Charlie Kirk, because I was in communication with Charlie at this time, because I knew exactly which donors were pressuring him and why, exactly which people that they were insisting Charlie allowed to speak at his event and why, when Charlie did not necessarily want those people to speak at his event, okay? I'm calling upon Turning Point to release the footage of what Charlie said to Tucker Carlson before he hit the stage.
Are you confirming that there's audio for that? Or are you just saying, you're just assuming there's audio for that? I don't know. Here we go.
Before,
I don't know.
All of that craziness and the response to Tucker Carlson's remarks played out. Charlie was mic'd. Surely Tucker Carlson was mic'd. I know Charlie's mic'd the entire time at those events. So I'm asking for everyone to just release Charlie in his own words. I feel like that's pretty fair, right? Let's stop saying how Charlie felt. And instead, if you're going to hold up the letter, release it in its entirety. Okay? Why don't you release your messages, Bill? I'll release mine. Let's all just be very forthcoming about what took place. In fact, I'm calling upon Tucker Carlson to speak about that. I know what Charlie said to him, and I'm sure Tucker Carlson won't lie about it. What did Charlie say to you? Dave Smith, what did Charlie say to you? What was Charlie? Did he seem like he was treading in the direction? Like, do we feel like what BB is saying is honest, a representation of what Charlie was going through?
I watched the Dave Smith, Josh Hammer, Charlie Kirk moderating TPUSA debate, and Charlie was subverting Dave, I think, in my opinion, around every corner he could. But then again, people watched my video of that, and they took the title and ran with that instead of like listening to the actual video. But yeah, it looked like Charlie was subverting things that were being said. Okay, Charlie got pressured. Okay, then he's a fucking pussy then. Like, just be honest about this stuff. But instead, he's a fucking hero, I guess. And Candace is looking to blame someone else. I get that as well. It's just, yeah, we're doomed to repeat ourselves of stupidity. Instead of someone, like, putting their fucking foot down. It's like, okay, that's enough. Let's get to the real shit, bro. This motherfucker right here, no, not good enough. Bye. Take your money, go move to an island, do something else, bro. Leave. Like, to retire, Candace. If Charlie was alive, I'd be like, yo, Charlie, retire right now and do something else, man. Go enjoy your family and go do some other shit. Straight up. Yo, BB, retire right now. Okay, I know you're under, like, you might go to jail for this shit, but you know what? Own up to it, bro. Whatever happens, leave this shit. Stay in Israel where you're safe and just do your shit over there. Trump, leave fucking office. You're trash. Retire. Marco Rubio, retire. Why is it the weirdest dweeby dumb fuck motherfuckers are the guys that are always on camera in front of me? Always. On repeat. I guess we could consider that normal. Instead of being like, wait a fucking minute. Why does my Little League coach have better ideas than the fucking biggest mouthpiece on the fucking platform? Why is my Little League coach smarter than Candace fucking Owens? Or Benjamin Netanyahu? Or Charlie fucking Kirk? Or Donald fucking Trump? Why is my Little League coach smarter than them? How's that happen? That can't happen, right, guys? But it happens anyways. We're just like, yeah, that's the way the world is, man. I can't fucking stand it. I get tilted off that shit. Don't worry, I'll shut up, guys. Here's more of Candace's voice. Here we go.
This is what I want. I think that the thing that we need here, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Now, does all of this mean that Bibi Netanyahu and that this somehow proves that Israel was involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk? No, we have no evidence of that. We can't say that because there is no evidence of that. But I don't like little lies. That's what I will say. Something that I always say in my household is when there is one lie, doing that, there's Candace. 20. There's no reason to lie. Bibi could have gone on Fox News and he could have told the truth. He could have said truthfully that Charlie Kirk has always loved Israel. He has always loved Israel as the Holy Land. He's been here many times. And throughout his career, he has been a faithful supporter of Israel. That's not what he said. Okay. He talks about the phone call and didn't give it the proper context. He held up the letter and didn't give it the proper context. And lies by severe omission, I'd like to be very clear, are lies. Lies by severe omission are lies. You're not going to gaslight us and tell us to shut up or call us anti-Semitic for pointing out the fact that Charlie was having a change of heart about the tactics that Israel was using in America, and that he felt when he had left that meeting that he had effectively been blackmailed. Again, my platform is yours, Seth Dillon. My platform is yours, Bill Ackman.
Candace, they would just work hard to oust him out of there. Because if you have these feelings and there's a fucking trail of evidence, killing him makes it like that much more blown up, you dummy. Why would you do that? You should be like, all right, get him fired somehow. Also, with their own like geopolitical maneuvering, how the fuck is Charlie in the fucking way at all? How? Doesn't make sense at all. Actually, it's fucking stupid to me. But it's okay to question things, but like the leaps and bounds that are being made right now, I think, are kind of crazy. Even if she actually denies the idea, like, yeah, I'm not saying Israel did anything. Like the way you're going about it, like kind of like implies leaps and bounds. You fucking psycho. But all right, here we go.
So if you want to clarify it, we can do it in front of millions, okay? And I think that that's what people deserve because everyone has PTSD. We watched Charlie get shot in the throat. That feels a little bit symbolic. It feels like they wanted us to know that his voice was problematic. Again, I don't know who they is. After we take this brief break, we're going to go through the investigation, which seems to have a lot of inconsistencies and holes in it. And we're definitely not yet at the bottom of what, in fact, took place.
Everyone has PTSD.
But I do know
no, they fucking don't.
That
it's a fucking dumb shit
severely
to say.
Distrust people who rush to misrepresent things. And it's not a good sign when somebody has to ask you, as Greta Van Susteren asked Bibi Netanyahu in his secondary hit regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's not a good sign if somebody even has to ask if you did have anything to do with the assassination. Doesn't make you a great person, okay? And that's what she asked him. Take a listen.
Before I let you go, I want you to address.
But questions are very like carefully curated. First of all, with guys like that, but also people are dumb. They can ask any stupid fucking question they want to, straight up. How many times did you vote for Bernie Sanders, Jordan? Huh? Never, but don't worry. I'll say it 10 million times. You won't accept the answer. That is a thing, guys. But you should check yourself and make sure you're asking in earnesty, in all honesty and earnesty. There, straight up. Then again, Candace Owens will never hear me ask this because, like, in my humble opinion, I think not me, but people that ask questions or maybe look perspective-wise like I do, Candace cannot be around because they will walk her into a knot that she can't get out of. So thus, they can't be around. So thus, you deal with dumb fucks like Joe Rogan, or Ben Shapiro, or Charlie Kirk, or whoever. We have to stay in stupid territory because otherwise, if someone actually intelligent walks into the room, it's wreckage. They look like super dumb. If someone like actually intelligent like walks into this arena and has like a mainstream platform, these guys look like, holy fuck, why the fuck were we listening to them the whole time? What the fuck? But don't worry.
She's using this as another piece of evidence, this question, that it doesn't make you a great person. I would think it would be more like a phrase like it's not a good look or something. But even that is not, yeah, people, I would say this upcoming question is more like when you, like she's actually being very favorable as an interviewer to him. It's like, oh, I don't want to ask this, right? So she's like, I don't think you did this, and so like that's who you would want to ask you this question. You know, even if it's uncomfortable, you get your most favorable light to present this, and she's not going to push back, right? Like if anybody will, this gives him an opportunity to present his side or give his story. Like that's, yeah, it doesn't look good, but it's still like that's how you would do it if you wanted.
Hey, you know, Barry Bonds, listen, last week that was a tough pitch. It moved a lot. It was a great count to throw that pitch, and you know what? You struck out. But like, I have to ask, not saying anything bad about you, but what happened? Like, yeah, you kind of build a bed, let them land in it, and start from there. Start from a comfy, cushioned bed. For sure, 100%. But that's the only way that like Netanyahu shows up for interviews, right? He knows that going in.
Yeah.
They know that going in.
Yeah.
But Candace is taken as some sort of like crazy phenomenon that's already been observed, whether Charlie's dead or not. And she has like in my opinion, a fake sneer on her face the whole time. I'm just like, bro, I don't fucking believe you, homie. I'm sorry. I don't think you're as mad as I am about Charlie dying. I don't think so. It's just my opinion. Forgive me, audience. It is what it is. I know a lot of Nick and Candace fans might show up here for this and fucking scorch me, but they don't know me. But in my humble opinion, if they actually listen to more of my shit, they'd be like, okay, he's not bullshitting us. I think there's room for calling bullshit with this lady, bare minimum, in my humble opinion. But don't take that and run. Maybe I'm wrong. You tell me. Here we go.
And that's what she asked him. Take a listen.
Before I let you go, I want you to address one thing, and it's just the absurdity of it. Some of the internet rumors that somehow Israel is behind the Charlie
our audience,
Kirk,
the internet is asking.
murder, and I don't believe it for 1 second, but I want you to make a statement. It's so absurd.
That's insane. That's insane. Israel also changes the orbit of the moon. Israel pushes the sun. I mean, the whole thing it's not only insane, I think it's so absurd, so stupid, and so ridiculous. You can't believe that people are saying this. They just found the perpetrator. They'll get to the bottom of this. But they go, they have no limits. When you hate Jews, when you hate the Jewish state, you're willing to say anything and promote all these absurd rumors. And by the way, they're willing to kill us all the time. I mean, that's what they're doing. And over the centuries, when Jews, especially in the Middle Ages, the horrific Middle Ages, the worst things were said about Jews you couldn't possibly believe. We were poisoning the wells. We were drinking the blood of Christian children. You name it. I mean, these things, that continued actually up to the Holocaust. The Nazis said the same thing. We're carrying vermin. We're spreading disease. And people believed it. And every time they believed it, this was a prelude to a greater and greater massacre, culminating with the worst massacre of them all, the Holocaust.
Well, he's mentioned the Holocaust. Guess we can't prod the narrative any further, guys. Holocaust. So everybody's just stopped talking about anything. Hey, he's the victim. It's absurd. It's just absurd. The Holocaust happened. You heard him. We're sick of this shit. We really are. And there will be no narrative that I will not prod when it comes to figuring out why people are lying about the state that Charlie was in when it came to the topic of Israel. Again, you can examine Charlie in his own words. You're starting to talk about topics that you're not really allowed to talk about when you take money and big checks are being written. And that pressure was increasing every single day. In fact, he was telling the truth even about Jeffrey Epstein. Take a listen.
Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, but there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just the guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis. Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation against the most powerful people on the planet.
Are you fucking joking me, lady? How do you not see that and be like, let's say, you know, Kirk had fucking funders or whatever the fuck, right? Get them to say, like, wouldn't they even lean into that, those narratives, because it's gone such in a direction that the only way to pull people back is to adopt it. That is so simple. That's simple psychology, aka marketing, right? Marketing is psychology, right? You're trying to appeal to your psyche to get you to buy something or adopt something or whatever the fuck, right? Why would you think that that little video right there, when he's, I mean, years and years and years late on that theory, and seeing, like, he waited for like the mainstream guys to start saying it first, and then he adopted it himself. What makes you think that means he's like, I'm sorry, like, I'm gonna freak out, man. It almost feels like people are adopting this message. Like, it's gonna look like entertainment to me at a certain point, because like, you're not actually trying to read people. It almost seems like you're trying to force something to be the case. And the ironic part is, it could be the case, you dummies. But this way, of like, see, like, look at Candace's face. See, told you. What about that? It's like, so? We just saw some chick. Or were they? They were hosting a Jimmy Dore show, right? Do Dissidents. Whatever the fucking names are, right? We just saw some lady get on the Emmy stage and say "Free Palestine." Guess what? That's the fourth fucking season she's doing that show, bro. Where the fuck was that shit at? But it's okay to say now, like, because, right? It's okay to say. Not saying she's a part of a plan. Not saying Charlie's part of a plan. I'm just saying it is possible. If you're gonna go with the theory that Israel has something to do with killing Charlie Kirk, and you have to go with the idea, like, well, also this thing's normal, where people start questioning Israel. Because the point, like, if they were actually creepers on that level, the point wouldn't be to get you to like Israel. The point would be to get the fucking job done, which is what? All right, we want this land, we want that land, we want that land. What the fuck is Charlie Kirk doing getting in the fucking way of that shit, bro? What is the actual thing he gets in the way of? What does he actually do in regards to that? Fucking nothing. Nothing. I mean, listen, guys. I can't say I know. I'll be fair. I don't know. We can look through theories. Fair enough. But the way Candace is presenting this shit, bro, she's asking for patty cake. Yo, tried to patty cake us. And it worked. Yo, Charlie was like, what's the idea here? He's hardcore going against Israel right now. So you know what? They had to silence him. That is being implied right now. Did you see that in this whole thing? Did you see that? I didn't see that. I'm sorry. There's heads of states saying, oh, Israel's committing crimes against humanity. It's a genocide, bro. And yet what? The genocide continues. Like, they're not there at all. Are they stopping anything? No. They say words. Maybe Charlie saw the algorithms like, yo, listen, these guys are like, these kids, these young people are like into this topic. So you know what? I need to like olive branch this shit. But listen. Politically, I don't like what Israel does, but you know what? As a Christian, I love Israel. It's like it could be as simple and stupid as that. This stream has ended. Oh my god. I should die.
The screen did.
I'm sorry. I'm yapping. It's Israel stopping me from talking about this. I'm trolling. Whatever. Okay. Let's keep playing. I mean, I'm just letting my frustrations out. Once again, I could be wrong. I could be correct. Make up your own mind. But guess what? Don't say you weren't fucking warned in the first place. By the lady that's like, see? Look, you see that? Huh? What is that? A guy taking advantage of someone else's death? You see that every fucking day. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems to conflict with BB's narrative a little bit. Yeah, just a tiny bit. I do want to say this. It's
She's so
important because I am angry.
Angry.
Well, obviously,
Hey guys,
pray
I'm
to move on
angry.
from this phase, but it's a fire in my belly right now. To those of you who think that you are going to
Righteous anger
replace
wouldn't be in
Charlie
your belly,
Kirk,
but that's up
okay?
to you.
Kings are
Candace.
born. You don't just get to depose and tell us that we're going to follow this individual, okay? I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA.
What? Why would you say
You put a shill in Charlie Kirk's chair, in Charlie Kirk's company, and you try to tell us to follow that individual, I will be an enemy of you. There will be nothing
that? She won't be.
that
My
can
humble
stop
opinion.
me. Okay? And I want you guys to understand, this is not a threat. This is a promise. There will be nothing that can stop me. I will release every single text message. So to those of you who are trying that, I'm seeing the messages. I am telling you to back off right now.
I don't believe her. I don't believe her anger. You'll be an enemy to me. What does that fucking mean to anyone else? We can do gossip about them at best. Do gossip. Nothing about character because you can't. You have nothing to account for in that regard. Like, good luck, lady. I don't. Okay, you may be able to work against, someone having a dick. Claims to be a woman but has a dick, right? Whatever the fuck you want to say. Like, okay, do that area, do the gossip shit, psychopathic Oprah. But in reality, when it comes to righteousness, you would fucking run from Christ. I almost guarantee that one. You might run for your fucking life. Anyways, here we go. Sorry to get dark here. Here we go.
Like now, don't do it. Okay?
A good person.
Don't you think about it. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly who you were that was under pressure. Don't you pretend to be noble now and say nice things about Charlie Kirk and think you're going to slide into his chair. Okay? Over my dead body, which I'm sure
saying Ben Shapiro
can be arranged. Now, I'm going to take a pause. We're going to go to some sponsors, and then we're going to get into what we are being told by.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I assume she means Ben Shapiro, and I have the text messages and all that shit. That's where I assume she's going with that. Okay. It all comes back to her and Ben Shapiro. People that have, in my opinion, offered no wisdom on planet Earth for their existences. Let's be honest. Everything they offer is borrowed from someone else, most likely, or panders to someone else, which means there's no fucking wisdom there. But guess what? These are your thought leaders. Enjoy it. Please buy a front row ticket. Good luck, guys. Enjoy the show. Good luck to you. But for now, I say it is what it is. There's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment. Agree, disagree. Tell me what you think in the comment section about anything. I ranted and raved and just threw shit out there while watching all of this. So, you know what? Maybe I'm the idiot. But if time passes and I'm like, well, I did say that over there. That's all. I'm appealing to my own authority right now. Whatever. I win. Okay. Follow Jordan. I'm right. You're wrong. I'm big. You're small. Pause. Either way, leave your comment in the comment section. Do not forget to share, support, and hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Also, check out the Discord if you want to join that and talk some shit with people. Please go ahead, join the Discord. The charity links are charity links, so it's not for me. All links, description box. And with all that said, please give this video of this clearly angry person, and give this video a thumbs down. My life.